Hello, everybody. What's up?
Hey.
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 Hey. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Man, it's been a minute, so I'm excited to talk to you for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I guess we need to do a little intro first. For those of you who don't know or can't remember, hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. This is the Off the Rails podcast with the Stile Boyz, and that comprised of Travis and
Mitch.
And this is a podcast about cabinetry and life and business and whatever else we throw in the middle. And this episode will be completely off the rails.
Yep.
Well, in a way, but I guess in a way not. Like, I guess we're gonna kind of focus on. It's a broad focus for us, but for us it's also a narrow focus.
Yeah.
So I guess we're gonna try to stay in shop conversation, and
Now,
but not construction, like not like building in the shop. Probably not necessarily. Maybe some about building a shop.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean,
We'll see where it goes.
Might drift that way a little bit, but for those of you who don't know, you're just about listening to us as live as we have ever been. As Mitch just said, we have used all of our vacation days. There are no more videos in the hopper for us.
Hey, congratulations! You're caught up with us.
Yeah, you're caught up. You're caught up. So this is as live as we have ever been on this podcast. It's a little terrifying and a little funny and a little cool all at the same time.
Yeah.
But man, I got Mitch to Tennessee.
Amen.
Believe it or not, it happened. I mean, we talked about it. I gave him enough crap, and he made it. Come up and we hung out for a weekend, and man, had a blast. You know, just got to have some FaceTime. You know, in real world, not videos.
Yeah.
And got to hang out and got to. I'm sure my kids overextended their questions and their
I wasn't
comments.
gonna say anything, but I started to feel a little offended over there. It's almost like they know.
I got a gift.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't watch on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. I got a new cup from the Buseys.
And I bet you won't take it.
Yeah, you won't take my cup or my cannon.
Yeah, man, his kids were a little hard on me, guys. I ain't gonna lie about it. They, it was a little hard on me, but
Well, welcome to my world.
I thought I was going to have to go to bat for your tail a couple times.
Right?
Boy,
Yeah.
I was like, hey, you kids, hush.
Thank you. I would have appreciated a little backup. I am usually outnumbered here, so I mean,
Yeah,
any backup would have been good.
That was funny, boy. But yeah,
Well, tell me about your drive up. Let's start there. How was it? How was the drive?
good old 65. Let me tell you something. Overall, okay, 8 out of 10. Now,
Okay.
that's a high score for me for interstates, because those of you who like to kind of draft with somebody, you get behind somebody on the interstate,
Right.
and you're like, hey, these people know how to drive. Man, let's go. That's me. I'm the guy that usually has somebody drafting. I was lucky enough to find somebody to draft.
Oh,
And
so you're used to being the leader.
Yep. And they were
Okay.
from Tennessee.
Mm.
And it was a fairly late model, probably 2017 or so, Toyota Tacoma red 4-door TRD edition. Because I watched
Taco
him
truck.
I watched him for 150 miles. I was right behind him.
Do you remember his license plate number?
I don't. But man, I caught up with him just on the other side of Birmingham, I think.
Okay.
And I got off at Buc-ee's
Okay.
in, what is that,
Athens.
Mm-hmm. And I lost him. And he actually waved to me. He kind of threw when I
Y'all
turned my
been
blinker
together
up.
that long?
Yep. I turned my blinker on. He threw his hand up in the back window. And I threw my hand up, and I was gone.
So for those few that we have that are not from around here or don't know the areas that we're talking about, it's a straight shot. It's straight up the interstate, right up I-65. There's zero turns. You get on the interstate and you drive north. About 4 hours, right, from you?
Yep, 4 hours on the nose.
Yeah, I'm about once you hit the Tennessee line, it's about an hour to my house. Tennessee line to door, about an hour. Bucky's is in Athens, and that's I'd say about an hour and 20, maybe an hour and 15.
Yeah, something like that.
There to my door. That's not including your shopping time in Bucky's, because that's
Oh.
you're on your own there.
They got it down pretty good. I mean, you're pretty much in and out because they're going the opposite of Walmart and all these other places.
Oh yeah, they're love
like
the cash registers.
Oh man, they're like, let's put 50 of them in here
and staff them.
Yeah, that's right. And
Not
you
just
are in
put
and
them
out.
in there. We'll put somebody at it. I don't think there's a single self checkout register either, is there?
No. No.
I like Bucky's. I
And
do.
I'm telling you, man, they're marketing. Whoever their marketing team is they're amazing. They do a good job at that.
And the cleanest bathrooms you'll find.
Yeah. So on a side note, there, I told Travis I had to stop at Bucky's, and he said, yeah, we were betting that you were going to stop in. I said, hey man, they got the cleanest bathrooms around. Of course, I got to stop.
You do.
And I almost stopped there on the way back and got fuel, but they were backed up to the interstate off the ramp.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. Is I mean, their prices are great. They got 1 million pumps, but still somehow the demand is just so crazy that there's still a line. Like it.
Yeah.
That is a downfall, but it is what it is. I mean, they've done everything they possibly can. I mean,
and another thing is they put it on an empty exit. And the one down south is the same way. There's nothing there, so there's no other traffic. There's not a bunch of red lights and stuff everywhere.
And they buy a huge lot.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are Bucky's newbies, just real quick, there is, in everyone I've ever been to, there is an opposite way out from the way in. It's they buy a big old lot to route you. You don't have to try to fight back in that line to get out in the same. Usually go out the back of the building and go around. Almost every one of them.
And I mean, they have like whole streets.
Yes,
like
yes.
3,
Multiple
4, 2,
lanes,
3,
yes.
multiple lanes that you can get out. So I mean, but it is crowded in there. If you're a little weird about being, in the middle of crowds and kind of scrunched up, take that with a grain of salt and just be cautious of that. But anyway, they got everything in there, man. And those of you that have been, but if you're on a road trip and you're going to pass a Buc-ee's or even come within 30 minutes of one, and you've never been, you need to go by there. It's an experience.
Yeah, it is. You definitely should do it once.
Yeah.
Especially in the mornings. Brisket tacos.
Yeah. I came in, and I don't even remember. I was so excited that day. I don't remember what I did that morning. It was something I had to get done
You had
first.
to change the oil in your truck that morning.
Yep, I had to change the oil in the truck. I messed around and let it lapse. I was over a few hundred. I would have been okay, but I said, man, let me knock this out. And then so we were going to change that. And of course, by me, I mean Thomas, Editor Thomas. He's going to change it. And so he goes out and hey, you Dodge Cummins owners, when you take that the oil drain plug out, you better get ready, buddy. I mean, it hit that pan, dude, and just splattered everywhere. And Trey was laying on the ground up under there, and it splattered all in his face and was all over Tommy. And then it was coming out faster than it could go in the bottom of the little drain pan. And so it overflowed the drain pan and got all over. It was a mess. But we got the oil changed, and I took off, man, and we went up there. And then, finally made it. Almost didn't make it up your driveway.
Yeah.
A bit of an incline there.
Yeah, I was worried about the old Ram there for a minute. I was like, yeah, it's very short, but it's steep. Did I ever tell you about the Ford sliding down the driveway during the ice storm?
Mm-mm.
I got to see. I'll find the video of it. I mean, so the driveway is steep enough. We had to snow, and I come in and I parked, and I got up it as far as I could, but I wasn't up. The next day, in the middle of the day, my buddy calls me, and he's like, hey, why is your truck sitting in the middle of the road? And I was like, funny, ha ha ha, yeah. He's like, no, seriously, your truck's in the middle of the road. I come upstairs and look out the window upstairs. I'm like, oh my God, it had slid just into the road.
I was telling Charlie about that, about the trip, and I said, yeah, you got a little bit of a steep driveway, but it ain't that bad. And his question, and this is how his mind worked, he goes, can he make it up the hill in icy conditions? And I said, I believe he'll slip a little bit trying to get up there.
I have, and I have not.
Yeah.
It depends.
Well, if you push the gas down long enough, it'll eventually melt the ice. Just hold it to the floor, and you'll eventually melt the ice. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I haven't tried that technique. I usually try to not leave.
Well, that'll work too.
Because we get enough snow and ice here that we have some equipment to handle it, but not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're right on that line of that we. It doesn't make sense to buy more equipment, like as a township and a city and a municipality, but it also wouldn't be a terrible idea if they bought a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I usually try not to leave when those storms hit.
And then we get to your town, which is still baffles me. It's not a big town. I mean,
it's not by miles, square
that's
miles.
Right.
It's not.
That's right. It's not geographically. It's not that big. Humanly, it is that big.
By God, we've packed a lot of stuff and people in here, haven't we?
I mean, it is unbelievable how many houses they have.
Yeah. I don't even know what our population is. I should look that up.
60,000.
Oh, you looked it up?
Yep.
When was that? 2022 census?
Yeah, the last census, yeah. And then Prattville, which I would compare it to maybe the size of Prattville.
Yeah, I would think so.
Is almost 30,000 people. So
densely populated.
Yes,
for sure.
very densely.
We're very densely populated.
But I tell you what, it really is a nice town. I mean, it's clean, it's well kept up. I mean, it's
got some stuff going for it. There's some government room for improvement. All the things that are run by the government could be improved on probably, but we like it. We enjoy it. Got some things, but
anyway, yeah. So we
got to take you up to see Kim at the school. Got to get you to take you see her office.
Yeah, went in and I got a little nervous when I saw the principal or the principal's office.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we walked around, got to look at the trophy case that you had put in, and got to kind of walk around a little bit and see. And it's just weird, man, because the three of us are mentally ingrained as high schoolers.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now it's like, this is Kim's office in a school. And I'm like, that's weird.
It's weird.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And we're walking around, 40 years old. We're grown ups.
Still in high school.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a nice school, man. Like I said, it's a nice place up there.
Well, I laughed when you said, when you saw the trophy case and you're like, yep, you did it again. You did not explain this right.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like the
Guys,
letters all over again.
Trophy case, I mean, it's so much bigger than what Travis makes it sound like. I mean, the thing was huge.
It's 33 feet. I mean, it's 33 feet left to right.
Now, the trophy case in our high school was like 6 feet.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like this little, like a gun, almost like a big gun cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get up there.
But you know what the difference is? Is back in the day, in our day, they gave you trophies to put in the trophy case. Now, 95% of it for athletics is a plaque.
Really?
They're kind of big plaques, so they take up a lot of room.
Give me a trophy, man. I want a trophy.
What's so fun about hoisting a plaque over your
head?
head?
What are you gonna do? You can't pour beer in a plaque and drink it out of the top. I mean, come on. High school we talking about.
I don't know that you can do that in high school either, but
yeah, well, we did that, and then we went to the Mexican place. And I tell you what, guys, listen, if Travis, wants some help, I'd go up there and do it. I'd go up there because he's gonna take care of you, man. Like, I don't get treated that good when I go to family. I have my own room, my own bathroom. I mean,
I knew that there was no way that you were going to accept any money from me.
Nope.
So the least I can do is take the best care of you I possibly can. I mean,
I came back 15 pounds heavier, but no, it was great. Except for I mean, the worst part is the whole reason I came up there.
The work.
Yeah. And let me tell you something else that you didn't explain to these fine people good enough.
Well, I think I know what you're going to go with, but let me see what you got.
Yeah, guys, listen to me. Listen carefully. Okay, when I walked into this man's old shop.
Before you got in his shop, I mean, what did you think as we went into the driveway?
Dude, if I didn't know you, I'd be like, this is where it ends.
Yep.
This is where it is. This dude is going to get a rusty lawnmower blade from the yard out here and cut me with it, you know. But it was, dude, and we're going to get into that in a minute, but I showed it, and in my mind, like I was telling you, in my mind, I had it as a gray metal building, no porch.
Because you Google Earthed it too, didn't you? A little bit?
I think we did. Yeah, I think so.
I know, and then.
And it was like a gravel parking lot. Like, I had way more room around it. And then we're squeezing in between old tractors and junk and barrels and buildings and but
goat
man,
fence and
oh yeah, animals. I saw the goats and all that stuff. It was a weird smell. We never did figure out what that was. But then I walked inside the shop. And let me tell you something. If anybody's listening to this that had this man do some work for you, you didn't pay him enough. I can tell you that now. You did not. You did not get paid enough to work in that environment, dude. It was well over 100 degrees in that shop.
Yeah, we got there about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
In the afternoon, yeah.
When we got there,
and it was a freaking sauna in there, dude. I've never in my life. I still, and I understand. We get there in the morning, and let me tell you something. You don't get used to 120. I don't care how long you've been in it. And the fans were heaters. You know, they were sucking.
They're just moving hot air.
They're just moving hot air. It was unbelievable, man.
It's like hanging blow dryers on the ceiling.
Yes, and I mean, you know, and you were like, yeah, well, you know, it gets pretty hot in the shop, and I'm like, no, dude, that ain't like we need to make sure these people understand. And so you showed me a little bit of the flow, kind of what you had going on, and then we took some notes. We actually did adult things, and we took notes, and we took, you know, and got voltages and current ratings off the motors and stuff, see what we needed. And then I was covered in sweat, and we went back.
Go shower, so go eat.
Yeah, I had to go shower, go eat, and then we went out. Got us a bite to eat.
A little cerveza and chips, and so how did we do on the salsa scale? Like, let's.
Oh, it was 10 out of 10
hit the
on
salsa scale. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You had good salsa, chunky salsa, and you had thick chips.
Yeah.
So Trey would have been proud.
And we did the cheese dip, the hot cheese dip with you, right? That had the chicken and the shrimp and all in it.
What didn't you guys do?
Yeah.
All these appetizers start showing up at the table, and there was like cheese dip. It had steak, guys. It had steak, shrimp, and chicken in hot cheese dip, right? And then there was the salsa. Then there was the avocado dip.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I was
we got the chunky guacamole.
Yeah, I needed 3 hands. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't dip fast enough. And that was just the 3 of us. You, Kim, and I.
Right.
Out
no
there.
kids.
Yeah.
That was the best meal we had. No kids went.
And then let's see. We went back to your place Friday night, and I had to keep asking you where my room was.
You did,
because it was.
I was afraid you were going to get lost in the middle of the night. I was like,
yeah.
Either door you go out of will lead you straight to a bathroom if you just don't make any turns. Just go straight in that door or that door. You'll either be in the hall bath or the bathroom attached to that room. So just.
And luckily, once I go to sleep, I'm asleep. But so yeah, we went there and went to bed. Got up early the next morning.
On time. Everybody was on time. No time issues. I had you a pot of coffee ready to go when you emerged from the door.
Yep, did good on the coffee. We sat and drank some coffee, and then we had to go to the supply house.
We went new shop first.
Yeah, new shop first.
That was the first time we got to see the new shop, and then that's when we started playing with layout.
Yeah, we talked about the layout and kind of what your flow was.
And plan where you're going to plan to run circuits to, because we had to run. I think we ran a total of 6 circuits.
Yep.
And so we had to kind of plan where we were going to run those, and and kind of get an idea of, and then talk about the flow of the shop, and that's why I wanted you to go to the old shop, because I wanted you to kind of see what I was doing, and then kind of think about the way that you do things, and then once we got to the new shop, it just couldn't be the same because of several reasons, mostly the doors, like mostly the ways that you come into the shop really really altered. I would say that was probably the good thing about the old shop was that there was only one door to contend with.
Yeah.
There was just the sliding door, and then so all the other areas were open to you to put whatever wherever you wanted to. Whereas the new shop has a front door, it's got a side storage door, a side garage door, and then a side roll-up door for going out.
Yeah.
So and a heater that's in the middle, and the heater in the other shop was on the back wall. So those things kind of make a little bit of a factor of where you're going to start putting things and how you're going to flow it. You know?
Yeah, because that entry door is critical. I
Yeah.
mean, you got materials coming in, stuff going out. You know, you got to work around that. And that pellet heater, dude, it didn't have a chance at the old shop. There was no chance. No chance.
It didn't. I barely would run. I would run it if I was working on that end of the shop. I would run it. Otherwise, it was pretty much no point running it.
Yeah, no point in that. I think you'll be toasty in the new one. I think.
Yeah.
So then we went to the parts house.
We did. Yep.
And we found out. So we're in there getting all this stuff, right? And
because we shopped local, we went local. We didn't go big box. We went to the local electrical supply store.
That's
Just
right.
FYI.
And local small business, we're trying to help you.
Yep.
Take note, we're trying to help you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So we go in there, and you got to act like you know what you're talking about, right? So I just start, using
So
all
I
this.
shut up.
Yeah,
I didn't say a word.
Using all this lingo, and I'm like, hey, we need 20 feet of, 12-3 SO cord. He goes, we don't cut SO cord on Saturday. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? Well, yeah, we only have one person here, so we can't cut it. And I'm like, I'm looking around the shop, the business, like, where's everybody else at?
It's Mitch and I in there. There's nobody else in the store, by the way.
I'm like, dude, pull out 20 feet and cut it. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But he wouldn't budge on it, man. He was like, nope, we don't cut it on Saturday.
Yeah, we talked about it. We said, I guess we kind of figured that the policy was there because in case somebody come in and wanted, to 3 different cords cut in 2-foot increments and like just kind of tied you up in the back and you couldn't get out like that. And so the policy was the policy, and he was like, I think I would have looked around and said, it's just you guys, it's 1 cord, I'll be right back. But hey,
it is what it is.
It was the policy, and they were open on a Saturday, so we were thankful to have a supply house open on a Saturday.
Yep, and they take returns.
Didn't they?
So we bought all this stuff.
They don't take turns as well as they sell it. I can tell you that. It's a different face.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
It's like, what can I get for you? Some money back? Oh,
yeah.
You again.
Yeah. So I'll share just so you guys know. So at this point in time, I had gotten a few things that I knew we needed beforehand. At their sister store in the town I live in, and this was the other shop that was in the town where the new shop is. So we roll out of there. We're at $1,100 deep in electrical supplies as we leave the shop. Now we knew we overshot it because they were only open till it was like 9 to 11, not 11 9 to 2 maybe. It wasn't very long anyway, whatever it was. So I was like, let's overshoot it. We'll have enough. I don't want to, I didn't want to burn Mitch's time. And people, if you got somebody coming to help you do things like this, move, maybe we'll talk about that in a little bit. Do some prep work. Don't just wait and just sit there going, I don't know. You got some kind of basics. So I had gotten some stuff, like I had gotten some boxes and some wire and nuts and, some things. But now there were some more technical things that I don't necessarily know, so I stayed away from those. I said, well, we can hit those real quick, and made it a little bit of a shorter stop. But yeah, we overshot it. We way overshot it, but we didn't know that. We didn't know necessarily. But I would rather have had all the material that we needed and be able to do the job and get it done and walk away from it. And we had everything we needed except for one plug, and that was my fault. I completely forgot that we needed a female 4-prong twist and lock. And actually, I don't know if I want to tell you this now or later, but I actually ended up having to replace all the twisting locks that we put in.
Really? Yeah, we'll get into that later. I'll make a note.
Okay.
That hurts my feelings.
Yeah, well, hurt my wallet. Yeah, so we got our supplies. The guy was good service. I mean, he was helpful and nice, and I mean, took care of us, and
Yeah.
And then we had to go. So then we had to go to Lowe's because Lowe's will cut SO cable on a Saturday, and had the best customer service experience I think I've had in a long time. I've been talking about this guy for like 2 weeks now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What was his name? I wish it was
Kevin
it Frank
or Kent?
Kevin?
Was it Frank? It could have been
I
Frank.
can't remember.
I feel real bad now, but
He's redhead though.
He was, which is unusual for a redhead to be that nice. Love you, babe.
I'm out.
But yeah, we went in and we needed somebody to cut wire, and this guy was just super. I mean, he was there for us, and he let us know that he was there for us and that he was happy to be there. And it was, you made the comment, I was telling my dad about it. I said, you made the comment that what if every interaction with an employee at some place was like interacting with this guy? I was like, oh, the world would be magical. Like, it would just be amazing. Like,
if everybody was like that guy, you know, we would get up out of the bed, man, and be excited to go and face the day every day. You know. Well,
I feel like, like we were talking about, like we were in there, we were trying to find some outlet covers, and they were we were having a hard time finding what we were looking for because they were kind of disheveled. Mm-hmm. And he's like, and we were kind of like, yeah, people come in here and they just move stuff around. He's like, well, people, he's like, people don't know that it has a spot, or they don't know they're similar. That's what we're here for. We're here to put them back and to organize it back out for you, or to help you find it. Like, it's not a big, like, I was kind of a little upset that everything was such disarray. And he's like, it's not a problem. That's what we're here for. Like, that's what. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I'm no longer a little heated at everything's disarray. But it also, like, could you, if everybody was that way, you also would probably take a little bit more time. I do it to my kids all the time. They make me so mad. Like, they'll walk around with something, they go, oh, I don't want this, and they'll set it down. I say, no, go put it back where you got it from. Like, it's just not polite. I don't know. Polite might not be the right word, but it's just morally wrong. I don't know.
It's not grown
drop
up.
It.
Yeah, it's not grown up.
It's like walking down the grocery store and you see a pack of hamburger meat on the noodle aisle. Like, what? You really, like, this is ruined now. I mean, go put it back in the meat
and we
section.
said something about that other place not cutting SO, and he was like, well, I mean, some places they just do like that, and
he even buttered that over.
And I was like, well, I'm just gonna shut up and quit complaining.
We're just a bunch of a-holes.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what
complainers.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of altered our little mood as we walked out there. I mean, we were talking about it and enjoyed it, but he provided really good service to us.
Yep. He's going to do that store a lot of favors. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got that, and then we did stop and get Egg McMuffin.
We did.
We did do that.
Yeah, we hit the Egg McMuffin.
Can't leave that out.
Yeah.
So we went to Lowe's, and then we went back, and then we realized that we were at your shop that had 817 fans, and we didn't take any to the new shop.
Didn't have a one.
So
actually, we had a one, but it was there already, and it didn't work. I plugged it in, and nothing.
Yep, nothing. So we were fanless. That was fun. But the good news is it was substantially cooler.
Shop's different
than the other place.
It's got some temperature differences.
And we went to, and of course Travis, I picked the weekend to go when Travis got a bum arm, and he can't hardly staple the staples. And
well, if it makes you feel any better, so since we're so caught up and everybody's so alive, I hurt my shoulder on vacation. I told everybody about it, and guess what, guys? It's still, that's it. I cannot. I mean, that is a strain. Now look. I can do this. Like, I can assist it. I have no pain anymore. The pain is actually gone, which is a big deal. Yeah. And I can actually, once I get it over my head now, I can actually hold it up for a little bit, but not long. But yeah, over the head work, I am still upside down. and straight out. I have nothing straight out. Like, I have all the mobility, but no strength in the shoulder. Like, it just, I mean, it's instant.
It was crazy. So but you know what? Travis was a trooper. You did a lot with one arm.
I tried to do everything. I mean,
you weren't just sitting on the tailgate saying, "Well, my arm's bum.
yeah.
You know, I can't do anything."
I'd throw this arm up and kind of crawl up and hold a wire. I mean, once I got it up there, I could hold on the top of the rafter. You know, but like driving a screw over my head, I am completely uncoordinated left-handed.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Like, but I mean, I might could, but if you got to have two hands, like I could drive a screw, but what am I going to hold it with? What am I going to hold it with? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, I kind of screwed you on that one. There, I ain't gonna lie. There's no other. There's no other way to put it.
Well, you were putting in all the outlets. I mean, like I said, you stayed busy.
I tried not to like loaf, but it was funny because we had at the electrical house we had joked around about buying a Milwaukee cable stapler,
Dude.
and about 3 staples in, Mitch was like, "Can we go back? Can we go get it?" Yeah. I almost said, I felt so bad. I almost said, "Yeah, let's load in the truck. Let's go real quick."
Travis shows up with some 4-gauge staples, you know, about that dang big around, and we're having to beat these suckers in the wood. But yeah, so we got everything ran, and we took our time. I mean, we probably could have got it, you know, a little bit maybe a little bit faster.
Weren't sprinting, but we weren't.
Yeah,
we weren't like loafing.
We got to looking, and how much time did we have in it?
I think we figured we started actually running wire around 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I think we were done about 4:30, 5 o'clock, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it wasn't, 6-7 hours. It wasn't bad. We ran 6 circuits or made 6 drops, I guess. Yeah, and we did everything. I think we did everything that we needed.
One of them was full tilt, front to back. I mean, couldn't have run it. I mean, the only way we could have made it any longer was if we'd have zigzag going across.
Yeah.
The other 2 were halfway across the shops, I think 30 feet. So I mean, with the other 2 were 20, 15, 20 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, they were kind of dead center.
And then we learned some things about the guy who had the shop before you.
Yeah, he likes screws, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He had a drywall screw fetish.
What I call it, the Museum of Mystery, the Mystery Museum.
Jeez.
So there's like, I don't know, 5 or 10 shelves that just regular shelves, and guys, like every 3 or 4 inches down the front of the shelf, he had a sheetrock screw. Some of them were closer than that.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of them are like 2 inches apart. I mean, on the walls, on the columns,
there's a 4x4 post going up where we need to run a wire, and there's a straight line of screws going up it. I mean,
like every inch and a half, there's a screw.
What in the world?
We
like I bet halfway driven, like not like driven in flush or like halfway driven, like imagine if you were going to do like wire. I mean, like a yarn looming or something like.
Yeah. I don't know what he did. There's got to be a reason he did, because you can't hang stuff that close together.
No.
So I don't know what was going on, but we pulled out a couple hundred screws out of just random places.
There's still a ton of them.
Yeah, we didn't even get all of them.
Yeah.
And then we found out that so we got Travis got the CD player working.
So this is old school, like, I mean, this is what we had growing up. I mean, so you're talking about the receiver. We didn't have this growing up, obviously, because it had a 6-disc CD changer.
Yep.
As another unit, and then it had a dual cassette deck as another unit. We got 2 speakers inside, and there's 2 speakers on the front porch.
Yeah.
That I accidentally turned on at first.
Yeah, you probably need to unhook them.
might have blown the residents out of the house.
And then he's got an interesting take in music.
Mm-hmm. He's got one really good song out of 5 CDs. Couldn't get the tapes to play. I don't know what the tapes. I can't remember what they were, but the tapes were good. Actually, I do remember that. The tapes would have been good, but I Would Walk 5,000 Miles Just to Be With You was the one song on there that we both recognized and was like, this is okay. And then after that, it was a weird downhill decline.
Yes.
With
some kind of Scottish singer. I feel like I've heard that singer before.
Maybe.
But I don't know. You should look at the CD, see if it's got his name on it or something.
I might. I know one of them's a burn CD.
Yeah, and it's like that music is ingrained into my cerebellum now because every time we turned the breaker off to deal with something, turn it back on, it'd start over again.
Right back at the beginning.
And we just let it play, And I was like, man, I'm so sick of hearing this.
We just needed something in the background. Like we just needed. I needed something, and I was like, well, this. I can just kind of let it be background music and not really pay attention to it. But apparently, you like to listen to the words.
Yeah. And I'm like, what's this dude talking about? And then one of them, he was like hollering or something. Hey, you remember that?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I was like, and I didn't realize he was doing it till you said something, and I was like, thanks. Now I realize it.
You were over in La La Land, you weren't paying no attention.
Yeah.
So we figured.
I turned on my dad ears, and I was like, nah, it's just back there.
It's just static noise.
Yeah.
But we got everything ran and stapled. We got everything made up in the panel. Didn't have any incidences. Didn't have any scares. Nobody fell off the ladder.
Didn't even have a wobble.
No.
I mean, we really,
No. All that stuff went really good. And we got it done in a day. And the plan was to come up Friday, chill out and hang, work all day Saturday. And then if something needed to spill over into Sunday, we could. Mm-hmm. And come to find out, and the wire. I was going to tell them.
Yeah. Don't leave out your magic work with the wire.
So he bought two 250-foot rolls of wire. Hey, that ain't cheap.
Nope. $150 a roll.
We had one more run to make, one more circuit to pull. And I remember us running the wire, and I was like, we going to have enough? Well, we might. And I got to looking, and you were like, well, if we have to get in another wire, we can. And I'm thinking, dude, not for 10 feet. We're not going to do that.
Yeah, we were talking about, we're literally talking about like 6 to 10 feet.
Yeah. So I had a long home run, which is the home run is what you bring, the main wire you bring back to the panel. And I had one that was hanging out the bottom of the panel, 6 or 7 feet. And so I said, okay, we got extra junction boxes. I'm going to put a junction box up here because we got enough to get it over our heads. And then come out of that junction box and run a receptacle for your extension cord reel, your cord reel.
Yep.
So that's what we did, and we did not have to open that 250-foot roll of wire. And I was just like, thank goodness, man, because I did not want to have to open that thing for 5 feet.
That's what I call a home run. I don't know about that other thing, but that's what I call a home run. It's not opening a $150 roll of wire for 6 feet.
Yep.
It just worked out perfect. I mean, 250 feet of wire, we probably threw away 10 feet of cut off and scrap throughout the day. We were pretty efficient with it. And could have asked for the day to go better.
Right, and as you go, if you're running wire, every foot counts, man. So you run it neat, but also run it, short as you can run it. Think about your layout and all that stuff. But yeah, we got all that. So why do you have to change the?
Well, we also scored. Well, before we do that, we also did score another home run. We saved a run by just flipping the. What was the old air compressor? Circuit. It was in what is now my office. We just flipped that around and shot it through the wall on the other side, and so that saved us a whole circuit or
saved us a breaker and everything. So
so that was good.
Yeah, that worked out really good.
Yeah, so I had to change the outlets because I'm an idiot. That's why.
All right.
All of my machines are on 4-prong twist locks, not 3-prong twist locks. So yesterday after the move-in, I was like, let's see if this. No, well, let's don't.
Oh. Wah, 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 wah.
And of course, all the packaging, everything is gone. And burned all that. So, and hey, twist locks are not cheap. $30 a pop.
Especially not those Hubbles.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll tell you, you never have to worry about them.
Yeah.
But they are expensive.
Yeah, remind me, I got 2 things from today, actually, with the electrical, as we progress through the story. Just remind me. shapers, and what was the other thing? The overhead air reel.
All right.
I'll tell you about that as we get to that part. I'm gonna try to write it down. I can't reach that far to write it.
Gimped up. So anyway, we got done. We're both soaking wet. I don't know about you. I was soaking wet. Like
I don't think I was quite as wet as you were. I was really wishing you wore some darker pants that day because I could really tell everywhere that you were sweating. But
it starts at my belt line and works down, man.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just. But it was hot, and we were
Somebody
sweaty.
had swamp-A, that's for
You
sure.
ain't lying. I needed some monkey butt powder. So we get back. We finally get done, and we get back to the house. And Kim, let me tell you something. Kim, she acted like she didn't believe we got done in one day.
Yeah, she was surprised. I think she expected us just to monkey around the whole time and not actually. Not that we couldn't do it, just that we wouldn't actually work. I think she expected us to goof off way more than we did. I mean, we had our fair share of goofing off.
Oh, yeah.
And, talking and making fun of each other, but I mean, we can
But
work
she was
and
like,
do that.
Travis, like, we're done. She's like, really?
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, we're done. We got it. I mean, besides the little touch-up stuff,
Yeah.
But running all the wires, putting the breakers in and all that. And we even put we had to remove the paneling from around the electrical panel.
Yeah.
So we could have access. We even beat all that back into
whole
place.
shop, half-inch melamine walls. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
The entire shop. I don't search for a stud to hang anything on my walls.
Hang it
whole
wherever
shop,
you want.
half-inch melamine. Yeah. Not
so
so
we got-
much fun to take down, though, to be able to get access to electrical.
I mean-
that was probably the hardest part of it. We probably worked the hardest doing that.
That's what got the sweat going.
Yeah.
Was taking that off. I mean, who nails on melamine 2007?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys. We're better than that. They ain't got nails in it now. It's screwed up there now, buddy.
Yeah, it's like screwed now.
But
And they definitely did it with a nail gun, though, because they were sunk.
yeah, yep. So we get done and we go back, and the first place we go is to the shower because Kim doesn't want us touching anything.
Yes.
She's like, "Go get cleaned up."
Yeah.
And then we go out to eat. What was the name of that place? Jonathan's or something?
Yeah, we went to Jonathan's.
Went and ate there. Of course, here come the appetizers again. and-
Well, we had a child with us.
yeah, we did have a
my
kid
oldest,
with us.
My oldest daughter were with us, and so we go to Jonathan's. Fried pickles are hitting the table with her for sure.
And then we had cold spinach dip. And then
A little disappointed in that.
they promptly replaced that with piping hot spinach dip.
Yes, out of the nuclear reactor. They brought one from the fridge and one from the nuclear reactor. I'm like, oh, this is a complete.
But I'll say, man,
turnaround.
that pizza was on point. The horseshoe was on point. I mean, it was good. They now in your town they got some good restaurants, or I don't even know. Was that in your town?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know. You got all these other towns, and I don't know where we're at half the time.
I will not lead you astray in food. Fat boy can find good groceries if I tell you it's good groceries. Now, if you're a super straight line eater, that's a little tough. It's a little tough. That's a little tough. I need you to be able to branch just a little bit.
Yep.
But like Jonathan's is a super good place because it's got a wide menu. Like I can take just about anybody there, and you can find something. Whether you want to go wide, like you want to go, hey, you want a sourdough piece of toast with a hamburger patty on top of it, with French fries on top, and then we're going to pour queso all over that, and then chili on top of it, and we're going to call that the horseshoe.
Hey, buddy, I'm in. You know what I'm saying? Sir. I'm like, yes, that sounds like something I'd like.
That is one of my favorite meals. And then, the pizza is super, super awesome. But yeah. So we had a good time. I mean, we were there for, I don't know, we were there for probably almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
And we showed up, parking lot's packed. I'm like, oh, we're going to have to wait, And then, so we get there and they say it's like a 30-minute wait. And so we're hanging out. And I go hit the restroom. I was like, I'm going to go hit the bar. Bring us back a couple of mixed drinks. And before we're not even halfway through a mixed drink. They're like, all right, your table's ready. We're like, well.
And I'll say, Jonathan's does a whiskey sour a lot better. I think the Mexican place probably didn't know what a whiskey sour was.
I don't know that the waiter knew what you said, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The bartender could have pulled it off. I don't know that it. There's a lot of steps in that one.
Yeah. But both of them were good. I enjoyed both of them. And yeah, and then we went back to the house, made a little pit stop on the way home.
Oh yeah, we did.
I got some little vanilla crown that'll last 5 years.
Got a little whistle pig. Which not exactly the mixing whiskey that you should be. I mean, 12-year whistle pig, you probably should be throwing Coke in, but
well, you know,
whatever.
Hey, you're still drinking it. It'll be fine. Mm-hmm. It's good.
But we hung out and we did a lot of, and don't forget, we did a lot of software work.
A lot of Pro 100, and
so Mitch helped me get cabinets drawn up. Got a lot of that done. Got that because so basically, if you think about you have a catalog. Like my old software, I have a catalog, and I'm like, oh, I want a base cabinet with 2 doors on it. I kind of reach it over and I pull that over, and then I kind of modify it to the sizes that I need. I'm done. Well, when you're a new user to a software, you go to your catalog and it's empty.
Yeah.
So you gotta build each one of them, and get your catalog built up.
And I was gonna say they have a lot of cabinets in there.
They do, but they don't. They're not the way I build cabinets.
Exactly. So that is an option if you see something in there. It may be easier to modify that, especially as you get going in the program. A lot of times it can be easier to just modify one. Mm-hmm. Than it is to start from scratch. I've done that before.
Well, short story is that pretty much after this, my week and a couple of things got just completely derailed, mostly due to weather. Because, hey, it's the summer in the South.
Yeah.
And we just got bombarded. So I ended up actually at the house for like 2 days because I couldn't go get material to kind of move forward. I just sat here and drew cabinets for 2 days, really. I mean, so I'm actually catalog wise, I'm actually looking pretty solid now. Like I'm,
And now from now on, it's small modifications. Mm-hmm. Save the cabinet.
Yeah.
Small you can save 1 billion of them. Think about all the jobs I have in mind. Yeah. Complete houses full of cabinets, and I put everything. Matter of fact, everything I've got so far is on this thumb drive, which is what we use for the podcast. And I said, there was an old head in here who used to work for IBM, Richard, a.k.a. Gandalf. So he comes in, and he sits in the office, and he's like, you got that stuff backed up? And I'm thinking, ooh, no, but, man, that would suck.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I said, dude, I got a thumb drive. And this is, I don't know how big this thing is. It's 500 gigabytes. Yeah, 512. So I'm like, there might be enough room on here.
Yeah.
Dude, everything that I have saved in that program was 300 megabytes.
Oh, really? It's not big files.
And I have no idea how it's... And I guess it's just text code or however that works. I'm not sure. But...
I call it wizardry.
Yeah. So now I have a backup of everything in case, now if the shop burns down, I'm going to lose the thumb drive too.
Yeah.
So
I've got mine on a Google Drive. Like
I'm about to say, I may talk to you about that, and
because I did because of the cut list program. So I saved everything. I'm kind of doing like everything at the house, saved to the Google Drive, and then I can print at the shop once I get there.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about like setting up cut list again on another computer. I don't even really want to set up Pro 100 on another computer because I got to take the key back and forth, and I'm going to lose that sucker.
I wonder if there's anybody. Never mind. I won't ask that question. So, did you get the printer out of the back seat of your truck yet?
Mm-hmm.
Rattling.
And threw it right in the dumpster.
Did you? You didn't? Mm-hmm. Oh, so it wasn't no good, or?
It probably was, but the print cartridge for it was more than what I could buy a brand new printer for. That was wireless, had Apple Print, and a 700-page starter cartridge with it.
Yeah.
That was cheaper than the cartridge for that printer that I got for free.
Yeah.
So I was like. And I didn't know I didn't know. The lady told me that it worked. I didn't pay anything for it. And yes, it had been right around the back of my truck for 2 weeks. But the cartridge, when I realized the cartridge was like $230 for it, and I was like, I'm just not willing to gamble that on a printer that I'm not 100% sure if it works.
Yeah.
Got on the old Amazon, got me a Xerox laser. It only does black, but it's a laser printer with a scanner for like $150.
Yeah, and for a cut list, that's all you need is black.
Yeah, I just need. I mean, I don't do anything in color or anything.
Yep.
So I did that.
Yeah, so that'll work. I found it.
Remind me about. I'm gonna put a note about the printer actually because, babe, I love you, but I'm telling this story.
Ooh, we got some juice coming up, folks. Stay tuned.
Yes,
we got some juicy juice.
Yes, sir.
And then Sunday fun day.
Yeah.
We went to bed and we got up at fairly early Sunday morning. It wasn't like
8?
stupid early, yeah.
Are we up at 8? Because I think we said we were going to roll at 9. I think we told the kids we were going to roll at 9 to breakfast.
Yep. So of course we're eating again, and so we go to what was it, Bad Boys Breakfast or something?
Big Bad Breakfast.
That was a good place too, man. I mean, biscuits were good. Everything was good. And we ate there, and then I kind of went. We had tossed the idea of doing a podcast there, and then we were like, I really need to get back. And I think we worked on Pro 100 a little bit.
Yeah,
Sunday.
I really needed. I had a couple of questions that I really needed to get answered on Pro 100 while you were face to face with me. Then we also worked out our remote capability.
Yep.
We phoned a friend on that. And got that done. And I would give him credit, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't listen to us because he does his own podcast, so he don't want to listen to podcasts. But he helped us out tremendously with that. And then, but we also talked about that we wanted to do the podcast, and you brought stuff to hook up, but we were like, we've never done it in the same room, and didn't want to kind of, because we had done that in testing. We did a podcast and kind of lost it. And then to try to recreate it, it's just not as good. I mean, and these are not good as they are originally. They're really not good when we try to recreate them.
Yeah.
So we were just kind of nervous about trying to do them in the same room because I don't know. For those of you who've listened to like the last 2 episodes, and I sound like Darth Vader breathing every time Mitch is talking. I don't know what's causing that. I don't know. I can't get any further away from the microphone, and it's all of a sudden that's happened. Like I've actually, this episode, hopefully it's better. I've actually put a second filter on here, like a physical pop filter to try to just get rid of my fat kid asthmatic Eminem picking up breathing out of this system. I don't know what's causing it, but it's driving me bonkers listening to it. So I apologize to everybody who's listening to it and is like, what is going on? And
who is that breathing? Kids, be quiet in the back. I'm trying to listen to a podcast.
So we were like, I don't know if we can do it in the same room because the microphones they are so sensitive. We don't have microphones there are certain microphones for that, and we just don't have those.
Yeah. And we didn't want, and like I said, I wanted to get out of there by about lunchtime.
Yeah. We wanted to get him home at a decent time.
Yeah, because then I was debating taking the back roads, and that was a little over 6 hour drive. I wound up not doing that.
That was a whole stupid idea anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, because when I was ready to get home, I was like,
Yeah, the whole time Mitch was like, well, I'd like to see the countryside a little bit better. The interstate's just boring. I'm like, I understand what you're saying, but anything that's going to add time in that seat, I'm not good with.
Yeah.
That's just me. But hey, you do what you want. You can do it. I mean, there's a back road that'll take you all the way down, but you ultimately decided to go to interstate, huh?
Yep, and I left twice on Sunday.
Didn't you?
Yep, I had to. I was in there punching in GPS and getting everything ready and going over some text and emails and stuff before I hit the road and seeing if there was anything I needed to take care of, while I wasn't driving.
Right.
And I got 5 minutes down the road and realized I don't have my sunglasses. So I had to turn around and drive back. Of course, I had to punch your address in again. I'm pulled over on the side of the road 5 minutes away.
Couldn't come back where you were.
No chance. No chance I was making it back. But, yeah, so got that, and then the trip home was fine.
Because in all fairness, you didn't drive the entire weekend. You got here, you parked your truck, and then you got toted around the rest of the weekend.
Yeah,
so
I got chauffeured. Yep.
It's hard. It's different when you don't drive to like kind of pick up on where you're going. This entire weekend, like my dad was like, I showed him that spot of land. So this entire weekend, he's like, "Where's that land at again? How, are we going by it?" And I'm like, "No, we're not
Dude,
even
the whole time I had no idea where
in
I was
that
at.
area." Yeah.
You're just driving around, we're talking, and I'm like, I
Oh,
have
when we
no
first
idea.
come up here to like look to see if we wanted to move, I was like, I am never going to figure out how to get anywhere, and it just you get. I mean, it's like everybody else. You get used to it.
Yeah. And where I live, we have 3 roads, and and they're long, and they split off. You got to get on Merriweather, and then go down a mile, and then turn again on Merriweather. It's so complicated, but there's just not that many roads. But
Yeah.
so yeah, and then I came back on Sunday. But overall, dude, it was relaxing, man. It really was. It was a good trip. There was nobody arguing, no bickering, no drama, nothing.
Lots of reminiscing, lots of old stories.
Oh yeah,
lots of questions by kids.
yeah. Your kids were like, "What?"
running them traps, but it was good. I mean, we saw each other Easter, and that was really the first time we had sat down with kids and family, and ever, yeah. But then there's just, I don't know, there's something about, and it was a lot of time with just the 3 of us. So and there's something about being able to get back to that time, and Tammy, I love you. Nothing against you at all. I don't mean it to sound that way, but it's just when there's somebody there who doesn't know the story, it's different. It's just like, so, or you feel like you're leaving them out. Like if you just go down this reminisce road, you just feel like somebody might be left out, but yeah, it was just the 3 of us a lot, and then the kids, they ran their mouths that one night, but you did at least get to learn that they're not quite as antisocial as they appeared at Easter. But
yeah, trust me, they ain't antisocial.
They'll open up eventually, but yeah. But that's my life. That's how they treat me. They just, I mean, as I'm preparing for these 6 girls to come in this weekend, I'm like, and she's like, "Hey, Dad, I'm just telling you, like, they're not your children. You can't be
Listen.
like judgmental." And everything. I'm like, "Hey, I just want to meet them. Like, just want to know
who's in my house.
Want to put a face to a name of who you're hanging out with, who you're going to live with. It's roommates for this year."
Okay.
So yeah, so it's and like 2 extra friends, but it's who you're going to live with and that kind of thing. Because now we're out of getting assigned roommates. We've now picked roommates this year for sophomore year. So it's just kind of a thing. We're just going to bring them all to the house. I'm gonna take them all to the Mexican restaurant for some reason on Friday night. That'll probably be the last time allowed to go in that restaurant. We
saw the guy. We saw the guy that was playing the guitar in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that some dude knocked over everything. We saw him.
Yeah. And he's such a nice guy. And he's not a bad musician, which we went outside and ate, right? Did we sit outside? No, we sat inside.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, and he's not a bad musician. If he just take that volume knob and just go 3 clicks backwards, he'd be perfect because it's not a building big enough for you to take the main stage, buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, all in all, we really enjoyed having you up. I can't thank you enough for coming up and helping, for sure. I enjoyed it. It was just a huge relief. I mean, I got to spend the next week. I mean, I got access to the building a week early for electrical because when we were in negotiations, I really didn't know how it was going to go. I have another friend of mine that's pretty good with electrical and didn't know if he'd be able to help. And he wasn't able to help. They were actually at the beach on their vacation, and I didn't know for sure if it would work out with you because you got a business to run, you got things to do. I was really hoping it would, but I was also like, well, if it doesn't, I can run these circuits. It's going to take me all week.
Yeah,
I'd still be probably nailing in staples with one arm. I don't know what I'd. I honestly, with my shoulder being jacked up like it is, I honestly don't know what I'd have done. Like I guess I'd have gone to the little Home Depot and see if I could hire somebody sitting on the curb waiting on a, hey, you nail. I don't know.
No, it was good. It was good. Now I will say this though, kind of getting out of what we did. That was pretty much the weekend. Like I said, nothing crazy. I had a good time out on the back porch Sunday morning.
That was fun. Just
sitting around talking,
slow,
man,
chill.
And your dog is awesome. Moose. I keep wanting to call him Snickers or from your old dog.
Oh, Snickers, yeah.
But anyway, me and Moose bonded a little bit, and we played tug of war a few times, and
Moose doesn't meet many people who don't like him. I think you just got to be anti-dog to not like Moose.
He just got that face, man. He's got like he's looking into your soul.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
In a dog suit. That's why.
Yeah. yeah.
He really understands you because he's actually a human in a dog suit.
So what were you going to say about the shapers and the air reel? Maybe something about the wiring or something?
Yeah. So I'm changing out. So I forgot the female plug. We did a drop for the shapers. So what we did was we put a junction box in the ceiling. Mitch hooked me up with this really cool thing that I never really heard of before, which was called a strain relief. Mm-hmm. And so basically it's like a Chinese finger trap. That is the best way to explain it. That hooks to the junction box, and then it goes over the wire, and it keeps the pressure off the wire. The pressure of it hanging or being pulled on is in that strain relief, that metal Chinese finger trap. So that goes SO cable, which is just soft cable, basically. It's just soft
extension
wire.
Cord, black
yeah,
extension
it's like
cord.
An extension cord, yeah. So that's hanging down, and we needed a female plug to go on the end of that to plug. So I have the shapers, they run into a junction box, and out of the junction box runs a single male twist and lock. Now that may not be technically correct by some electrician wizard
right.
that's going to smack me in the face, but I only run one shaper at a time. I never run two shapers because I'm a one-man shop. So I'm not worried about it ever, doing wrong by having two machines on one time on the same circuit or whatever. So, but we forgot the female twist and lock to go on the end of that SO cable. So I got one today, and I was wiring it up. I wired it up, plugged it in, and turned the breaker on to test it. And as soon as I turned the breaker on, it popped. And I was like, Mitch, what did you do?
I bet I know what happened.
All right, I'll let you guess.
You had the plug wired differently than the receptacle.
No, think about who this is and running electrical and how stupid I am.
I don't know them, man.
That would have been too easy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so in the junction box where we unhooked all the wires for the other three to be able to move the machines independently from each other, I didn't hook the wires back up to each other, so it was just that one wire in the junction box. So it popped on the it popped on the box. Yeah.
Well, at least you had a good breaker.
Yeah, breaker works.
Yep.
Yeah, got a good little char mark on the inside of the junction box to remind me that I'm an idiot. Yeah, so I actually took both of the outlets or both of the ends apart again and looked, and I was like, I even matched black and white wire, which doesn't matter in 220, but they were actually on the same prongs, even same color codes. I was like, and I looked down, I said, yeah, I probably need to wire that up. And I took the cover off the junction box for the three-way where they're all tied together, and just a big old black mark right in the center. I was like, that's what'll
that'll
make
do
it
it,
pop.
buddy.
Yeah,
that'll do it.
And the air. So when my dad came up. Well, actually, my mom and my dad came to help us move. Thank you.
I ain't lying.
I'd probably still be moving. Look, my dad's 60 plus years old, and I worked him like a hired hand, like just like an hourly day laborer. And hey, he still got it. I'm just saying. Like I was impressed. I run them that first day, Saturday. I run them hard. I took to everybody in bed well Saturday night. I can
slept
promise
good
you.
Saturday night when I was there, buddy.
I mean, nobody questioned what we were, anything. But so we get the air reel mounted up. So the air reel and the electrical reel are. How tall do you think that peak is? You think it's 20?
All the way to the peak?
The peak, yeah, where
It's
we
close.
put that outlet. Where we put that outlet at.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it could be pretty close to that.
We'll call it 15, 20, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And so we get the reel mounted. We get the electrical reel mounted. Plug it in. Get the air reel mounted. Run the air hose to it. And I go to plug in something in the air reel and nothing. I was like, "What did you do up there? I don't want to climb back up there and figure it out." Crap. Like, it's a 110 outlet. I mean, even in 220, like, what really could be wrong? The only thing I could think of is that a wire popped out of it when we were trying to push it back in the box. Like, we just didn't get a good connection. I was kind of looking, and I was like, we turned all those breakers off.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I forgot that we turned all the breakers off that we ran when we left the building. Anything new, we turned off. And
just in case there was a and that showed up an hour after we left.
Yeah, and I had just completely forgot about it. But I'm sitting here looking at it, and I'm like, I don't want to go up there and work because my dad doesn't really do electrical. So I mean, I would have to go up there and
one arm it
up there, and again, it's directly. I mean, on the ladder doesn't reach peak. I mean, you're kind of stretched out. You're over your head.
Yep.
So I was pretty relieved to find that it was just the.
Well, good. I'm glad that none of that stuff was on me.
Yeah, no, everything was perfect. I got the 220 in the office flipped around today too. That was easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
I was going to ask if you've done that yet.
Yep. Got those up and
office.
got that running. Yeah,
Let me tell you something.
It's weird.
And I want to make this crystal clear too. To those of you listening, the change in mindset that Travis is going to have going from where he came from. I mean, it's a Cinderella story, man. Going from where you came from to the shop you're in now is going to be like it's two different worlds.
It is. It's
like it's. Don't think moving just from one shop to another. This is like different country, different town, different roads. I mean, this is. It's just so much different that your mindset is going to do like mine when I bought this place. Man, this place right here might as well been, 1 million square feet, and it might have well been SpaceX. You know what I mean?
And what's weird is they're pretty dang close to the same size.
Yeah.
There's really, we're talking maybe 20 square foot difference. There is no real difference. I mean, they're both right around 1,500 square feet.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot of difference in the size, but the way the ceiling is made, for one, the way those rafters are designed, and there's no horizontals at a lower level. Now, I mean, the ceilings in the old shop were 10 foot. Like, I mean, I could flip a 10-foot cabinet up, no problem, didn't hit anything, but they still had rafters that run at 10 foot. This is trusses that's wide open, and I think that makes it feel enormous.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then you take the white melamine walls that are all the way around the shop, and it just reflects light. It just looks bigger.
Yeah, and I think the new shop you can get a better layout in the new shop, if that makes sense.
So I mean, I don't know if you want to go there yet, if you're ready to go there yet, but we're in, and so we successfully moved. So again, huge thanks to Derek. Derek at the end of the week was like, "Hey, I'll be here in the morning to help you move." So at 6 a.m. he was there with his trailer as well. So we ran 2 trailers Saturday morning.
Who said 6 a.m. hurt you a little bit though, didn't it?
Not me, not that day, because I wanted to get rolling before I killed everybody in the heat.
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
I knew for what we had to do, I knew that we need to get rolling. So I actually on Friday night, I had my trailer completely loaded already before anybody showed up. I loaded that trailer by myself. I had the second trailer. He had dropped it Friday afternoon at the old shop, and I had it about halfway loaded. I needed the dado saws needed to get on there, and I needed to get them on there as a unit. I didn't really want to take them apart, but he tongue locks his trailer every time he drops it, pretty much out of habit, and I didn't even think to ask him to not. So I showed up a little bit before everybody did, pulled the first trailer out of the way. That wall's really close. Pulled the first trailer out of the way, and then got him to move his trailer a little closer to the door so we weren't trying to drag the dado saws through the gravel to get them to the trailer.
You'd have got snake bit and everything. Run over a goat.
Yeah, because Kim decided that she wanted to load the planer cabinet Friday night. She wanted to help me put it on the second trailer. I lied. For everybody who I just said that I loaded that first trailer by myself, that's a lie. I am sorry. Kim come and helped me Saturday or Friday night after she got off from work. It was pretty close for that trailer. We had a few. She helped me put a few more things on, and then she helped me start to load the second trailer. So I want to give credit where credit's due because I worked her like a hired hand too. I mean, she I'm telling you something. That woman, she worked this weekend for sure like a grown man. But she was like, let's just go ahead and get it on. So what I did, I had to put it like the dolly underneath it, like kind of jack the front and use the dolly wheels to get across the gravel and basically just drag the rear end.
Yeah.
But because of my shoulder, I couldn't get down there and lift it. Luckily, Justin, the old landlord, showed up at like the right second and helped me throw it over the gate and get it in there because she was having a hard time. She's got a bad back, so she doesn't need to be down that low peak because the countertop is kind of loose on it. So you can't lift it at the countertop. You got to get down at the bottom.
And if you don't lift stuff for a living, plywood and stuff, it's not good just to go snatching on it either.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of, and look, I can't thank my dad enough for what he did, but he reminded me of what it looks like when somebody who doesn't pick up plywood a lot.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking
tries
about.
To pick up a full, and it's not that he can't pick it up. It's just that you don't know. For one, you don't think about which side of the plywood that you're on when you pick it up for where you're going.
Yep.
Almost every time he would get crossed up for where it needed to be at the end. And it's just a lack of experience. It's just not thinking about that putting down part. Because if you've put down several sheets of plywood, you think about that. Because that's the crappy side of it. But he would get twisted up. Like he would actually just kind of come in, and I would just grab it from him and twist and set it so that he didn't have to. You know, but yeah, that it's if you're not used to lifting stuff all day, it's.
Well, I told you when I bought this shop, I was weak as well water.
Yeah.
And I
Are you insinuating something changed?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Now I ain't trying to act like no macho man, but I can take a piece of 3/4 off that rack and put it on the saw now.
Right.
And I saw Charlie. I was like, "How you get this 3/4 off?" And this retired man grabs it, goes over his head just set it down. And I was like,
and I've only seen him on Facebook. He's not a big fella.
He's not a big fella, man.
Yeah.
You know. And I was like, wait a minute. Now something's wrong. But again, I was in the factory 14 years.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't lift. You know, and.
Yeah. And luckily, we had no MDF. There was no MDF to move.
By the way, I need to off the record. I need to ask you if you saw something.
Okay.
Anyway, so
we've got 2 trailers loaded. Yeah. So Saturday morning comes, we get the last little bit of stuff. We make that trailer load. So we end up making 4 runs. 2 runs with 2 trailers. 4 runs total if you want to count each trailer. But got Derek in and out. Thank you to him so much, and to Caitlin for letting him come out for a little bit, and he got him home as quick as he could so he could have some father-son morning. You know, I mean, he's got a young boy that looks for that. But that set us like the pace way ahead of where I ever thought we would be. I mean, I actually had no intentions of, so that you remember that back corner where all my remodel stuff was, for the remodel business, for the construction stuff. I had zero intentions of moving that this weekend. I didn't think we would touch it. I can come back in the truck, because I was like, well, once all this stuff is out of the way, I'll just back the truck in. I'll throw it in the bed of the truck, make it a short run, and I'll move it and kind of sort through it. We moved everything. By the end of Saturday evening, we were out. I'm talking about 100% clean, swept, dusted. The only thing we didn't move, we left the big workbench that was in the center.
Yeah.
I left that for the newest tenant. I didn't think it would survive the move, because I didn't build it. But
that's right.
I inherited it. I put a better top on it. But I didn't think it survived the move, for one thing. And I was inheriting some workbenches at the new shop, so I just didn't think I'd have room for it, and I didn't. And then that one other kind of workbench that I had the two routers, the drill press, and the sander on, that was back there by the heater, I left that as well for the next person to inherit. Other than that, it was empty. I mean, we cleaned it up. Got a text from the tenant, or from the landlord, sent him a little video with it cleaned out and moved. Just, hey, we're done. We got a trailer to pick up in the morning, because Derek had parked his trailer there for the weekend, picked up this morning. I was like, we're done, we're out. And he's like, hey, that is the cleanest that shop has ever been, or anybody has ever left me, because that's the way you should do it.
Yep.
You leave it, and I'm telling you, it was way better than we left it, than we got it. I can assure you that. The first day we moved in, we swept and vacuumed rat poop for an entire day. We inherited a crap hole. I'm just saying. I know Tommy's gotten pretty good at beeping words, but I'm trying not to give him any extra work.
No, dude, I really like to beep.
Well, I'm telling you, it was terrible what we inherited. I mean, we left him way better. He should be able to post it, should be able to show it really quick, and get another tenant in there. And that was just kind of the concept. Let's leave you where you can get another tenant in here. You're looking for this income, and you've been good to me.
He is now a reference.
Yeah.
What if somebody said, hey, give me a reference on somewhere you've rented, and they call this dude and like, man, Travis left his place in a wreck. He left it a mess. He just got what he wanted and left. Or I tell you what, he made improvements. He took care of the place. He cleaned it. There's nothing damaged. It'll come back around.
I mean, that's just the business. I mean, that's how we run the business. We had one job. I mean, Kim cleaned the entire kitchen and the floors and everything when we left, because it needed it. I hate to say that, but it did. But for one, because we wanted to take pictures of our finished product, and there was this thing in the corner that we couldn't take pictures of. She's like, I was like, so she, but just, you leave things better than you find them. If I borrow something from you, it's going to come back with a full tank of gas. I mean, if I, it's just that mentality. Let me.
How far away? Because I don't think I asked you this. How far away is the new shop from the old shop?
25 minutes.
Okay, so not too bad of a trip.
Basically, a trip was an hour of the day.
Yeah. Okay.
There and back. So we did that. So we did 2 trips with 2 trailers, and then I dropped the trailer. I think I dropped the trailer a little prematurely. Probably could have made one more run with the trailer, but I had looked at what we had and thought, yeah, it'll all fit in the back of the truck. So we ended up having to make 2 runs with just the truck after that.
Mm-hmm.
But not pulling the trailer versus pulling the trailer probably ended up same.
I was getting 16 on interstate. Yep.
That's good. That's
Tires
good for that
matter.
big girl. Oh,
Tires matter.
Yeah, for sure. And you probably enjoyed the ride a lot better on top of that.
Oh, yeah. There's no shimmy at 70 anymore.
That's probably what gave you a 8 out of 10 for your ride, too, was probably your change.
Yeah.
You do that same drive in the mud tires, it'd have been a 5 out of 10 probably.
Oh, it was horrible.
And then
the whole time.
That wah. But we're out. We're completely out, and we're at the new shop, and hey, we're stroking it and we're working. Again, my parents come through. I mean, they're just, my mom, she needed. It was kind of fun though because they listen to the podcast and they listen to what we do, so tons of questions, like, what? Oh, is this is the, and getting to show them what some of the stuff we talk about is. Oh, this is the shaper, this is the track saw, this. Oh, and my dad was like, so this is the grizzly, and I'm like, yeah, this is it. So we get that all in place, and we're starting to put things. I mean, I think I sent you a picture of Saturday.
I'm looking
night.
at them. I'm looking at them right now.
I mean, that's Saturday night. I mean, that's pretty. I went to bed really impressed with where we were as far as being set up and ready to go in a day.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, man, from doing this, your surroundings, I just can't stress that enough. It's how important your surroundings are. If you go to YouTube and you type in shop tour, there's millions of videos. People love showing off their shop and how they have it laid. Like, it's a big deal. That's your office. That's your workspace. That's your livelihood, throughout the day. And I don't know. I see you doing really big things in here, man, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, so I've got the layout. So far, the layout as we have planned works. I really, really like it. I feel like I've got so much room for activities. It's just nuts. The planer is questionable. Where we decided to put the planer, that's a little questionable. In feet, out feet is a little shorter than we planned because I didn't really think about if the dust collector wasn't in the corner right beside it. Yeah, it would be fine. But in feet, out feet is kind of obstructed by the planer. But I can't, or by the dust collector, but I do have the ability to kind of roll that cabinet forward a little bit if I need to and clear the dust collector. So we'll see how it does. But so Sunday comes and my dad's like,
sorry, I just watched the video that you sent me.
So my dad's like, what do you need to do, like, that you're going to struggle with? And I was like, so today's goal is overhead dust collection. Everything as far as the overhead part of the dust collection, I need you to help me with, because I'm still jacked up, So, based on your and my conversation, mine and your conversation, I don't know how grammatically that should go.
Yeah, it works. Send it.
Looking at the big dust collector and how it was collapsing that pipe, which Mitch got to see. I was not kidding.
He wasn't joking.
He'd sucked that pipe down to an egg. And I think you're 100% correct. I think I had too many. I had some direct 90s, so it came directly off the machine, went to a 90, went up, and then went straight to another 90. So basically, while it had a lot of pipe, and that was kind of in my mind, I was thinking, well, it's got a lot of pipe, so it should be able to breathe. Your philosophy was those 90s were probably choking it.
Yeah.
And I really think that you're correct. So in that thought process, I said, I'm going to 6-inch pipe, 100%. So to Lowe's we go, because I didn't prior plan and didn't get to go to the supply house to go to a plumbing place and get plumbing, get 6-inch parts. So we're at Lowe's, and boy, does that hurt. I mean, so
PVC?
A pipe is a sewer pipe, 6 inches, $13 and some change. A fitting is also $13 and some change. Put a Y in. A Y is $35 in 6-inch. It will make you cry. $800 is what we walked out spending at Lowe's. Now look, I was like 45s. We grabbed the whole box of whatever they had. We're not making multiple runs. We'll make one return. I ended up returning like $300 today. So, but I'm in 100% 6-inch. And so I sent you a video. I'll post the video when this goes. That is, so that's the run coming off the dust collector That is a little over 10 feet there. It makes 245s to turn, and then it goes another all the way across the shop, just about. So about 20 feet across. It has a 6-inch opening on it that will get capped. Okay. It's got a 4-inch opening on it that will go to the shapers. So it goes 6-inch and then it goes 4-inch, like right at the very end. And then it's got another 6-inch line that goes all the way across the shop to the dado saws, and it is open at the time of that recording as well. So it's got 3 big openings on a big run, and I take a towel and it is just shh, and I actually am not paying attention, and it goes out of my hand because I'm trying to record it to show my dad how good of a job it's working.
Yeah.
And it sucks the towel out of my hand and say, I was like, whoop, well, it works.
Now you gotta go dig it out the impeller.
It wasn't the impeller. It was right there. Yeah.
Yep.
I do need to apologize to the guy that I bought the dust collector from. I know he doesn't listen to the podcast, but I'm going to do the right thing. So the guy that I bought the dust collector from, who said, I think you snookered me. This filter is not clean. It's not new. So how long do you think that's been since we've had that conversation? Like 6 weeks? Maybe?
Yeah, probably, but somewhere along in there.
Okay. It was almost back to this condition that it was last time.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's just the amount of MDF that I cut. I think it really.
Yeah,
I
it could
think
be.
the amount of MDF that we use really chokes it down. So boy, I took all 3 filters out, took a blower to them today, and created a dust storm. But got those all out. But yeah, I think I may have short-sighted him a little bit. I'm feeling that. I'm filling that dust collector up.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Have you talked to the dumpster company?
Yep.
Uh-oh. I couldn't tell if that was a good yep or a bad yep.
So I guess, yeah, we hadn't talked. So a little bit of a frustration point. Waited 3 days to get a phone call for when the new dumpster was going to be delivered. All kinds of phone calls about, hey, are you good with your service? Hey, are you everything going good? But no call about the dumpster being delivered. And then all of a sudden I'm driving down the road and I get an email that says, thank you for signing up. Your dumpster is now on site. And luckily it comes with a picture of where it's sitting, and it's right where it should be. They followed the instructions that.
Oh, they did. Okay.
I said, well, they either followed the instructions that Kim gave them very well, or when they got there, the homeowner, the landowner, told them where that we had talked about putting the dumpster. And then when I talked to him, he said, yeah, I hadn't, because I pulled up and I was like, hey, are you good? You good with the dumpster location? Is it what you thought? And he's like, it's actually way smaller than I thought it was going to be. So he was happy about that. It's green, so it kind of blends in with the grass and the woods and all right there on that corner. Yeah. And he's like, but no, I didn't talk to him at all. So they nailed it. They put it right where it's supposed to be. And good. Buddy, I'm ready for a dump. It's slap full.
I'll be honest with you, I was like, that's gonna suck, man, if he goes through all this, the move, the wiring, and can't get a dumpster, and then the dude is like, you gotta haul that off.
Yeah.
Just going home, I thought, what if the landlord's like, you can't burn here, you gotta haul all this stuff off once a week, and I'm thinking, man, what a drag.
Yeah,
so
that was an unknown that I was willing to roll the dice on. Did I show you the dump? Did we go by there when we left?
No.
So it's really not far. I mean, it would have been okay. It would not have been ideal, but it would have been okay. But we tore that cabinet out, the big cabinet where we decided the table saw was going to go
with the paint in it.
Yep. Well, he got rid of all the paint. Everything was ready. Everything was ready to go when we got there. Some of the pieces were gone and everything. But we tore that out, tore a couple other things out, and then from what I threw away from the remodel business, like that puppy is to the brim.
Yeah.
But yeah. So but we're in. So I'm probably at a 95% right now.
Yeah, and there's going to be a settle point, like building a new house. It takes a few months to settle. Hey.
Yeah. Ring.
Let's see, 129.
I was trying to think of what else I could send you a picture of. So, So let me tell you about the setting up the Grizzly for one thing. So you remember that was a nightmare, setting it up the first time. Boy, is it different setting up a saw like that with two people. That's a game changer.
Yeah.
That is a game changer. So I had my dad there to help me set that up, got that going. Unfortunately, I didn't have what I needed to attach the slider to it at the time when I had help. So I attached the slider to it today, and that is a bear by yourself. And that is a booger bear. But got the slider on, hadn't cut anything on it yet. I think I like it. The only thing I don't like is that it pushed the back rail for the fence, the actual, the one that it locks onto.
Mm-hmm.
It had to push it over so far to the right. My tape measures are no good for one thing, and it's way. It's already longer than the back rail.
Yeah.
Right. Because of the way it extends for the wing, for the measurement wing, and it's way longer than the back rail now. So it seems super weird.
Yeah.
But
there wasn't a way to cut the original fence, I don't guess, the original rail to keep your tape.
I could have, but luckily for me, when I ordered the fast cap tape measure last time, I went ahead and ordered two. So I've got one. I have one in reserve. I actually ordered it with the intentions of the move. I thought I would need it for the miter station because I took my miter station apart and it's on the bench. Not sure how I like that. It's a little high, which we talked about. We thought it might be a little high. It is a little high, and I think something happened to that saw during the move. It's creaking and making all kinds of weird noises. But she's old. She's got some miles on her. So
Hercules.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that, or another rigid, or I'm thinking about a radial arm saw, but I'm trying to figure out how to put it underneath the underneath that countertop.
Yeah, you
so that it's a flush. Because I was like, if I could use this countertop, if I could put a T-track in the countertop, right? So I've still got this completely flat surface up here for other activities.
Mm-hmm.
And my track is in there with the tape measure. That would be perfect. But I don't know. So I got to figure that part out a little bit. But so right now I'm back to tape measuring every stupid cut for face frame material right this moment. That's not going to last long because I know what the other world is like to live in, and I don't want to live in this world.
Right.
I want to go back.
I need to send you a picture of my setup just as just something to look at. I mean, I like it. It works pretty good.
I'm interested because speaking of your setups, you looked at my workbenches and told me you need to cut this workbench down to about 2 foot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what I did. And I am like a kid in a candy store, wanting to work on that. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. Like, how stupid of a solution is this to the problem? So basically what he told me is so I kind of had like a standard height workbench, a little bit lower than waist level, which means you're working on everything kind of at your face or higher. So imagine you got a table that's 30 to 32 inches, right? And then you throw a cabinet on it that's 30 to 35 inches, just depending on what you're doing, maybe. So you've got a cabinet, the top of the cabinet could be at 60 inches.
Yeah.
Well, let's say you got a 6 foot cabinet sitting up there. You're putting together and you're trying to spin around. Well, how stupid is that? How stupid is that?
Most solutions in a shop like ours are just stupid simple.
Yeah, so I inherited this bench. Nice bench, good solid 1-inch MDF top on it. It was solid built, had a solid melamine bottom to it, And Mitch looked at it and said, I'd cut that down and make it about 2 foot tall and work off of it. He's like, put your face frames on it, flip it over. Your face frames at waist level. You can sand it, you can route it, you can do whatever you want to at it. I was like, holy Moses. How stupid of a solution is that? And I did. Dad was like, is there anything else I can help you do before I leave? We need to get on the road, because they're 2 hours away. I said, yep, I need you to help me flip this thing. Let's cut the legs off of it. Let's put some leveling feet on it and help me flip it back over because she's stout.
Yeah.
And we did. So I cut it off. I already had some leveling feet hanging around from another project that I just didn't get to, and so we got it. Got the feet on it. It's not level and set where I want it yet, but I can do the rest. And then I'm going to skirt it. I'm going to completely seal and skirt the bottom so sawdust and screws and items can't get lost underneath it.
Oh yeah.
I'm just going to make it solid. It's too low to the ground to use it for storage. It doesn't make sense. And I have, so that other cabinet, do you remember the other kind of workbench cabinet that we said, well, we could put drawers in it or maybe? Mm-hmm. That cabinet is still completely empty. I have that much. The workbench that workbench on the side provided so much storage. It's nuts.
Yeah.
But that thing is still completely empty. There's not a thing in it.
Well, good. And that's really a good thing, because as the weeks and months wear on, you can think of stuff you want to put in there,
So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to make some boxes that are the size of the openings for that. I'm going to just slide those boxes in, and they'll have drawer slides.
Yeah.
And then we'll just have drawers inside those doors.
Yeah, because you can't set a shop up in a weekend. I mean, you can move everything into it, but setting it up, that takes a few jobs. Hey, I want to move this, I want to move that, And
Well, I tell you what's funny is that, I've got those 2 rolling tables, which are one of my favorite tools. But where they were kind of sitting in the shop and they had some things on top of them. I was working around them for the longest time doing the setup like they were workbenches in place. And I was like, and then I finally realized, I was like, those are the rolling tables. I was like, holy smokes, I got so much room right here. Like these don't even live here. I can move these wherever I want. Yeah. So I was like, man, we're kicking it. I mean,
I'm excited for you, dude. I'm excited.
It's beyond belief. And then Kim killed it yesterday getting my office. So first I have to give complete kudos to Taylor, who I asked her to clean the fridge that I bought. Little Marketplace find. It was bad. It was not great as far as the inside. And then it had sat in the garage for about a week, because it was here when you came.
Yep.
So maybe a week, maybe a little bit longer, closed. You know what a refrigerator does closed without running. It gets ranked pretty quick.
Yeah.
And, of course, she goes to use the pressure washer, and for whatever reason, the pressure washer won't come on. I still haven't looked at that yet because we were moving. So she had to hand clean this thing. And never complained, never skipped a beat. She got it clean. I mean, it was spotless. I mean, she couldn't have done a better job, got that set up. But then Kim just slayed away in that office, getting everything clean, getting everything organized, giving me some storage, giving me some cubbies, getting a temporary desk set up, getting the microwave, and then she set up the printer. And that's where it kind of fell apart a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So she successfully got the printer set up, made a copy, come out, all proud, got a copy made. Well, what I didn't realize was that she was fighting with the paper tray and couldn't get the paper in the tray. It would not fit. But I'm like, so at one point in time I popped in there and she's like, hey, she's like, what do you think? I was like, well, how did you make that copy? She said, I put one single piece of paper in it, and it fed it. But like literally, you would put the paper in it, and it was curled up. Like it would curl up, and you couldn't even close the tray.
Yeah.
I was like, I assume these instructions are just this one piece of paper. You know how a printer comes. You get, I mean, because everybody can hook up a printer now. Like it's not a whole lot to it, but. So I looked at it and I was like, well, maybe it's a low capacity. Maybe there's something, because it was so cheap. I was like, maybe this is some kind of low capacity, like it only holds 10 sheets or something at a time.
Yeah.
Well, on the instructions, you can see where the max, there's like a cutout in the plastic for a max line, like it kind of highlighted that instruction. So I found out on the plastic, no, max line's pretty high. Like you could put a pretty significant stack in there. And to her credit, I'm playing with the tray. Like, I'm looking at it. I can't get a piece of paper to fit in it either. And there's this, and I'm about ready to call it quits. And there's this one little lever in the back. I'm like, what is that? And I let it loose. and the tray extends.
Yeah.
Like it's like for shipping, it's
Yeah.
smaller for whatever reason. But which makes no sense because it ships inside of the printer. So why did they ship it too small? But I hit that little button and it just extended. And she's like, "Are you serious?" And I was like,
Y'all been fighting with it for an hour.
but I can't even celebrate like a man because when I throw my hands up, like only one goes up. But yeah, so she's like, "I can't believe I've done everything in this office, and then you come in and you're the hero because you can get the paper in the printer," you know.
Yeah.
But that was pretty funny. But then I got to have old habits die hard, right? I go in the shop today. I am no longer carrying my lunch to work in a Kroger sack. I upgraded.
Moving on up, man.
Yep, I found a brand new DeWalt tool bag while we were packing up, and I was like, "This is my lunch box." So I brought that box and I brought it home, and I was like, "Babe, I'm gonna put my lunch in this every day instead of a Kroger sack." So I walk in today, I got my lunch, you know. And
What'd you eat?
Well, so Saturday
So today
night,
was your first day?
So today was the first full day in the shop, yeah, by myself. So Saturday night, as we're wrapping up, you know, Kim's like, "Man, everybody's tired. It's like 7 o'clock. We're still going, but we're done. We're petered out. I mean, remember we started at 6 a.m. I'm telling you, we started at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
She's like, everybody's nasty, you know. And she's like, nobody's gonna want to go home, get showered, and go somewhere for dinner. She said, "Why don't we order some wings?" So it kind of, as you go almost to the Mexican restaurant, right before you get to the Mexican restaurant, if you remember, there's another shopping center that it's kind of got a dive bar in it, but
Yep.
they make like the best wings. I love them. She's like, "Let's order some wings, go pick them up, you know, and then we're done. You know, we'll just feed everybody wings for dinner." So I go up there and get like 50 wings and a bunch of fries, you know, from them, and then come back and we all scarfed that down. So I had some wings left over. There weren't many, so she packed me some wings and some beans, wings and beans. But old habits die hard. I did like I've been doing because I've never had a fridge before. I let my lunch sit out all day long, and then microwaved it, which it's not a problem. But what the real reason why I wanted the fridge is because how some days like you bring your lunch and then you get busy and you don't get to it. Well, I'm kind of weird about stuff like that. Like if it's been sitting out like that all day, it's done. Like there's no, and I didn't eat it, it's done. And I've lost like good leftovers, like maybe some steak left over, or maybe good wings, or because I didn't get to it that day, I got busy. So I was like, oh, I want a fridge. At least I'll put it in the fridge, and if I don't get to it that day, it was still good. I don't lose the lunch.
You got to remember you have one.
But I got to remember I got a fridge to put it in. But it was just nice to I closed the door. I'm trying to remember to keep the office door closed, keep the dust out of it. But ate my lunch, and then I kind of sat there. I got to get a Wi-Fi extender though. Got pretty good internet, but it doesn't reach the office. So I need to order a Wi-Fi extender just because I can't watch YouTube.
And is this
while I
like
eat.
the landlord's Wi-Fi?
Yeah, yep. I get access to the Wi-Fi as part of the
That's good.
part of the deal. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it was just a really good day. I'm like I said, I'm about 95%. I need to start tomorrow. I got a job that I need to start, but
how many Wi-Fis does the landlord have?
Just one.
What a peasant.
One. Right.
What a peasant, man. Come on. He must not know. He must not know who he's dealing with.
Not everybody runs multiple Wi-Fi networks, but
it's like I was in another country. He was like, "Yeah, either one of those will work." I'm like, "Either one? Whose Wi-Fi is this?"
I only do that because at the other house with our internet service provider, we had to buy our router. When we moved here, AT&T gives you a router. So I had a router, got a router. So what I did is actually what it is the way the house is set up is like all of like the streaming stuff is on one Wi-Fi router, and then like technically like all the anything mobile or guest is supposed to go on the other router. Like that way it kind of keeps it separate. But then Carson's room is in a weird place from the router, from both of them. It's like a dead spot. So I had to run an Ethernet cord from the main box underneath the house and run a router closer to her room, or she doesn't get Wi-Fi. It's just super weird. So yeah,
How many?
we have 3 networks.
How many Wi-Fi's show up that aren't yours if you pulled up Wi-Fi on your phone?
Oh my God, probably a bunch. Let's see.
Like I'm not telling everybody your business.
Just because of how populated we are.
Yeah, you got some neighbors.
Let's see. That's not mine. 1, 2.
And keep
3.
in mind,
Just 3 right now.
You're upstairs in like a bedroom or something.
Right.
So
4. Another one just popped up.
yeah, you got 7 Wi-Fi's.
5 that are not mine. One of them
I'm telling y'all.
One of them I do know who it is, and I do know their password, but I'm not logged into it.
Get on there, man. Get on there.
Nah.
All right. So let me ask you a question.
right.
Are you kind of?
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers the move. I mean, I just cannot thank everybody who was a participant in the move, from you helping me with the electrical to get that started to my mom and dad and to Derek for the couple of trailer loads and the hand. I mean,
Just remember us when you get big time.
I definitely will. I definitely
know what I'm
will
saying?
bring you along, and to my wife, who just never ceases to amaze me in crunch times like this. I'm telling you, I don't know how guys do it who don't have wives who provide the amount of support like that our wives do in those critical moments. Like, it's just it's weird. I couldn't imagine any other way. So it's just the way she always has been. Now I'm going to hear about it for like the next week, like how much she's helped me move, and how she's she's a little sore.
You're gonna be rubbing them feet,
and what she did for me. I'm going to hear about it a little bit, when I need, when I speak out of turn. But during the time that I need the help, she don't say a word. She just goes and goes and goes and does and does and does for me. It's just amazing.
So let me ask you this: you weren't in the other shop, that long. You weren't in there for 20 years.
No, but 8 months.
Yeah. So, how sentimental are you when it comes to throwing stuff away you haven't used in a while, or maybe it's getting a little wear on it? How sentimental are you?
I can be. I really can be. When we were going through the remodel stuff, so the plan was to bring, because I don't want to clutter this shop. I want to keep it as flowing as possible. So the plan was to bring the remodel stuff to the house. Kim really doesn't want the remodel stuff at the house, and I know that. She wants the garage to stay clean, and I get that. She don't want to see it in the garage. So when we started first thing Sunday morning before the sun came on that side of the building, and I basically said I had to make a mental decision to detach myself from a bunch of that stuff, and I was able to actually throw enough stuff away that the remodel stuff is not at the house.
Yeah. So something interesting and keep in mind, folks, I mean, I get it. It's stuff, right? Yeah. I get it. But like and this stuff will not be thrown away. I have my dad's scroll saw. I have his old rinky-dink router table, the old Black & Decker plastic router table. It's locked up in the room. Things from Dad, I won't throw it away. I have his original sawmill drawings that he drew up. Yeah, cause when he was going to build a sawmill. There's a story there that I won't get into now. But Charlie, when I bought this place, you could tell Charlie was a little sentimental about some of the stuff. He wanted, I got the vibe from him that he wanted to keep, kind of keep his space alive, if that makes sense. Like, he didn't care if I came in and changed some stuff or whatever. But he was proud of, and rightly so, he was proud of the jigs that he had made. He was proud of the little trinkets I remember that job. I had to make that, and he would hold on to that stuff,
Yeah.
And I remember his assembly table that he had for 30 years wore out. I mean, it went from 3/4 plywood to 1/4-inch plywood. It was delaminating. It was rickety. It's falling apart. And I had to stop and pause and think, what am I going to do? Just burn this thing,
Right.
And he had one assembly table 30 years.
Wow.
Can you imagine the money that came across? And I called him and I said, hey, are you going to be are you cool with it? Because it's wearing out and we're going to have to do something different. He's like, no, man, throw it away. Burn it. I don't care. And I said, well, I'm trying to be respectful. I don't want to just come in and just, trash your stuff. And this was a couple of years after I bought the place.
Well, so few people would have made that phone call anyway.
Yeah, but I'm like...
I'm just saying. It's your shop. It's been your shop for a little while.
Yeah. Yeah.
So few people would have done that.
But, man, something about it. I watched that thing burn in the burn pile, and I was like, man, the conversations that this dude had working on it, the phone calls, the good, the bad, and all this stuff. And so I made a new one that was basically the same, a little bit different, a little bit beefier, but kept his concept, kept the same size, the same height, all that stuff, But then it came down to these wooden T-squares that he had made. So whenever we build a cabinet, we put the vertical, we lay it on the table and then stand the horizontal up, right, and bump it in there and nail it, whatever. Well, then you have to scribe the line. If you have a partition, you have to draw a line where your nails go.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had this old wooden T-square that he had made, and the laminations are flopping, they're coming apart, and all this. I kept that thing.
Really?
I kept it. Because it's small, right?
Yeah.
It's 22 inches long and, a little T on it's about 10 inches wide. And I'm like, I'm going to put this on the shelf. And what I'm going to do is I'm starting to kind of turn some ideas around for a display because some things have recently happened that's got me thinking I need to do a display. And that's going to be one of them. And so in 30 years, I can say, man, the guy I bought this shop from, that's what he used.
Yeah.
Because I don't know where I'm going to be in 30 years. I don't know if it's just going to be me and Trey, or if it's going to be 10 people and we've added on. I don't know. It's kind of like your roots. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get rid of my roots. I don't want to forget where I was at when I bought the shop and what tools I had, And so I wanted to ask you kind of how, and I know yours is a little bit different, right? Because you didn't inherit somebody else's cabinet shop or buy somebody else's. But, I kind of catch myself not throwing away. Now, I did throw away 15 truckloads of junk, old cabinet doors and stuff. But the stuff Charlie made, the jigs that he had made, I got drawers full of them. I can't seem to throw them away.
I don't have a lot of jigs. I'm trying to get to where I'm building more to make it better, but that's what I was trying to explain to my dad this weekend. Because he had, after we had the face frame, how to build the face frame, and then you sent me the videos on it and all. He actually texted me. He was like, "Send me that video. I want to see that." And he's like, and then he texted me. He's like, "Have you built this yet?" And I was like, "I haven't built one yet, but I'm going to." I just said at the time, and I kind of had the move, hoping that was going to happen at the, and still looking. But I was trying to explain to him, because I guess in that video he remembered, I didn't, that you can see your wall of spacers.
Yeah.
In that video, and he's like, "Do you have something like that?" And I said, "I don't." I said, because when you're doing kitchens and kind of like what Mitch does, he has a lot more standardized stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have near as much standard stuff. I really have one jig right now, and it's not the toe kick, but it's the bottom shelf where the bottom shelf goes in a cabinet to make the toe kick right. And it's got a left, a right, and a flush, and it's kind of wide. so I can put it on there. And all I use it for is just to remember which side is the bottom, and then I'm dadoing it. Like I slap it up there, I draw a line, and it goes in the dado stack. But it's just so I can remember which side I want to dado for the bottom based on which way it's turned. But like I had a hinge template thing that like I threw away because I know my drill press got all out of whack moving everything that I'm gonna have to realign and probably rebuild it anyway.
Yeah.
So like I don't have that many jigs, but I know what you mean. Yeah, like it's
Well, when you come over here, buddy, it's jig land.
yeah, you got a bunch.
Welcome to jig land. I got thousands of them. I'll walk you through some of them.
But can't dance a jig to save your life. That's
No dancing. So yeah, I was just kind of thinking, and I figured you didn't have a lot of stuff, but you know,
yeah.
But I wanted to ask you about that. And
but I'm not a real sentimental guy either. Like I'm not I don't want my grandmother's whatever because it was my grandmother's. Like if it's of no use to me, it's of no use to me. Now I do. Yeah. Now I got 2 toolboxes underneath my workbench that were my granddaddy's that I haven't gone through yet. But I'm like I don't want to go through them because I'm not going to get rid of anything anyway out of them. Like, those are grandpa's. Like I'm not getting.
Charlie had made some wooden toolboxes. And I mean they're primitive. They got little drawers.
Yeah.
But he made them and had everything organized, and that was our install boxes for years.
Really?
You know, until we did something else, and I couldn't throw them away.
Yeah.
I stuck them over in the corner, and I was like, dude, the money that these 3 boxes made.
It's crazy.
You know, if you stop and really think about it, he's got $20 in them.
Does he have like a son or a grandson that might want something like that one day?
No. He's got one daughter, and she's got a boy and a couple of girls, I think. None of them are going to be interested. I can tell you that.
Well, I mean, I don't mean like that they're going to do cabinets, but just that this was Grandpa's.
No, I don't think so, sadly. Anyway, so my shop, right, because I've heard enough about yours. Everybody's sick of it. Right?
They should be. We've almost spent 2 hours on it.
And mine's quick. My shop was built in 1933. It's a brick building, right? Built in the Great Depression. So there's a guy that lives a mile down the road.
Built for F5 tornadoes.
Yes. Guy that lives a mile down the road, half a mile down the road. His wife is the great granddaughter of the person who originally had Keener's general merchandise.
Okay.
All right. So her
which is your building.
It was my building.
That's what your building was.
Well, it was the first Keener's merchandise, which was somewhere around here.
Oh, okay.
My building was built in 33 after the son had half ownership, and then he had full ownership. He went to World War II, came back, bought half of it, and then bought the whole thing. 1933, he built my building.
Okay.
Bought it from his daddy and built the building. He kept the stuff when he closed down. 1968 is when the general merchandise store closed, Keener's store. He kept just about everything in here. Knickknacks, trinkets. I sent you a picture earlier of a bucket with a spoon.
How did I miss that?
It's a 1-gallon metal bucket. Now, so Rusty is the guy whose wife, you know, was the great-granddaughter and all this stuff.
You didn't send me nothing.
I didn't send it to you. Who in the world did I send that to? I may have to send you a picture. I sure didn't. I got to figure out who I sent that to. Anyway, I'll send it to you real quick. So check this bucket out, all right? Here we go. Yep, and there it is. All right, it's coming to you. So Mr. Rusty comes in today. He has brought me a printed article from the 70s about this store. No, from the 60s about this store. And he also brought a letter that okay, we're going to call it the father and the son to keep everything simple. Anyway, the son wrote a letter that said, hey, here's when the building was built, here's this, here's that, you know, whatever. And they kept a lot of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He brought me a bucket today. Did you get that picture?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, that is a 1-gallon metal bucket of Hormel lard is what was in that bucket.
Really?
Now, there's none in there now. That spoon has got a special hook on the back to hook onto the top of the bucket. If you look a little bit below my thumb, you'll see it.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Mr. Keener, if you came in and you needed lard, but you couldn't afford a whole bucket, he would sell you a spoonful. And he would put it in butcher paper and let you take it home. So that was his lard bucket. All right, there's, you know, old Alabama Town is in Montgomery, right?
Right.
The old historical, you know, they have museums and stuff. Anyway, Mr. Keener donated a lot of the stuff out of this shop to old Alabama Town. Old Alabama Town has since put it in their museums, and it's like, you know, little bits and pieces of it kind of spread out.
How decorative that spoon is for this. I mean, like...
Yeah, it's crazy. So, they're going through their building that's got all the stuff that's left out of this original store. And he said, we're not keeping some of it. Some of it we're getting rid of. Some of it she's just not interested in, like a lard bucket. But me, I find it fascinating. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude used to come to a general store and buy a spoonful of lard in a butcher paper and take it home.
Yeah.
So he said, we're going through it. Whatever she don't want, you have first dibs on. Or whatever we're going to throw out or they ain't got room for or whatever. So there's a potential to have some pretty neat to me stuff that can come back almost 100 years later.
Yeah. And I mean, this, you're getting this, you're not having to buy it?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I don't know. It might be 2 or 3 things. It might be 30. I'm not sure. You know, it might be, they might have an old can of hair gel or something, you know. I don't know, shaving cream, whatever. So, depending on what happens over the next few years, maybe, I'm not sure, I'm going to build a display.
Yeah.
And so when people come in, they're going to be like, what's that? And I can say, well, I can kind of tell them the story.
Yeah.
So I think it's really neat, you know, and I made it clear to him that I do not want to destroy the history of this building. I want to keep it alive. Because back in the 20s and 30s, man, Grady was popping, dude.
Really?
I mean, I met an old black guy, fixed his bed for him. He was born in 1930, I think. He said when he was a kid, he would come down here on Saturday and there'd be 200 people out here, just covered up.
Because this was just like
there was general stores, there was a train station, there was all kind of stuff to do, and hotels and banks and all kinds of stuff. It's
really
now long since gone.
What happened? What do you know? What happened to make it kind of dry up?
Well, Montgomery started to become populated.
Oh, and
so
it just was a bigger draw.
Yep. So people kind of started moving, and it kind of slowly died. And then there were some gas stations out here. And in the 80s, the early 80s, the EPA started coming around making them soil tests, which cost thousands of dollars. So they quit selling gas. And as soon as your town quits selling gas, it dies.
Right.
And that's basically what happened to Grady. I mean, it was a booming town. I'll send you some pictures. But anyway, yeah, I think it's really neat that some of the stuff out of my shop is in old Alabama Town. And I know there's a display cabinet. I think there's like an old cash register somewhere, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited about that, and I made it clear to him
that's
that
right
I'm
up your alley. That's
that I'm interested in a square nail. You know, like, don't throw anything away. I want just about anything. You know, here's an old shelf that came out. I don't care what it is. You know.
Yeah.
So that's that happened today, and then the one thing that I'm excited about, and I want to encourage people.
Oh, we like encouraging.
Yeah, well, you know about it because I sent you a picture of it.
Oh.
But, you know, we did that cash job, that countertop job, and the guy paid me in cash. And so I took the money out for the materials, put it in the bank, and I pocketed the rest. And I said, I want to buy something for the shop. Ooh. But I want to wait until I need something instead of trying to think of something.
Oh, okay.
So we were installing the bases on the big job last week, and we needed another level. Yeah, you remember now.
Yep.
And I said, I have wanted a Stile level for years.
You're going to love it.
So I went on Amazon, dude, and now you're like, how many do I need? What size? Well, I'm gonna set this cabinet with this, you know. So I got the 2 sizes I think I need, and they're gonna be here Thursday. So I'm excited about that. So
you're gonna love them. I like the Milwaukees a lot. That's what I was telling you. I like them a lot. They're just so stinking heavy.
yeah,
They are. The Stabilas are just so light. I mean, it's just. And then, you know, I'm sure you can find a case for them. Like, I don't know if you found one there yet. Yeah, I mean, get you a case and throw it in there. What sizes did you end up going with?
32 and a 58.
32 and a 58. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so a 58, I can set a 3 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot vanity, maybe even a 6 foot vanity, because a lot of these bathrooms are not big enough for a laser.
Yeah.
Right, you get your laser set up and it won't hit the whole cabinet.
Or the bathroom's so small you're like blocking the entire laser in there, you know.
That's right, yep. And then the other one I have is a 72 inch that I already have that's almost too big for setting smaller cabinets.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the cooktops and stuff, just like yours in your kitchen, is 25 and a half deep. Well, a 2 foot level won't go front to back.
Right.
So that's why I got the 32 inch. Also, for an island with the hidden supports on the back that stick out the back,
yeah,
the supports are 32 inches.
Okay.
So I can set that level on top. It's just good all around. I can do a bunch of different things with it.
That's money well spent, man. That is money well spent.
And I was going to say, a lot of you guys are like, why don't you just go to Walmart and buy a level? Let me tell you something. When you set cabinets for a living, they have to be level. I mean,
a Walmart level, a Home Depot level, whatever. It's going to give you. I don't know that you're going to get any more level or not level first day use. But day after day after day, those cheaper levels are not going to hold the straight line.
Right.
They're not the body of the level is not going to hold up like a Stabila is. That's what gets you.
I don't know if a lot of people think about this, but if that level has got a little bit of an arc to it, or a crown, or a bow, it's useless. You know, useless. Yeah. So Stabila, that's the top shelf. That's the Cadillac of levels. I mean, that's the pinnacle. You know,
I really, really, really wish I'd have spent the $80. I mean, it was literally an $80 difference in the Milwaukees and the others, and I just was trying to penny pinch at the time, and it just looked better on paper. And don't get me wrong. Now, I mean, the Milwaukees are solid. I mean, I feel like I could, if a car was speeding at me, I think I could just kind of put one at like a 45-degree angle on the ground, and it would ramp over my head.
Up. Yeah.
But dang, they're heavy to carry around, and they put the red. They do put the red color sometimes on the wall.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. They'll leave a little red line sometimes.
And you know, you have to think about warranties too. So Stabila's got a lifetime warranty. I mean, you know, if you tear it up and bend it because you dropped it, they don't replace it, but they do discount your next level.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just one of those things. I'm like, you know, I didn't want to take money out of the account or whatever to buy it.
It's such a weird thing that will enhance you too. That's what's kind of weird about some tools that you're like, that people do not understand. It's like, whoever's listening to this that does not do this for a living, they're like, a level? Really? That's, I mean, the world's your oyster with cash in your hand and you chose a level? Yeah.
Yep.
That is one of those things that just makes your day better. It just makes it easier, you know?
Yeah.
It does.
Yep. And the other thing I was going to say is not what we have going on now, but this is just kind of shop talk, right?
Okay.
I've got a guy that's going to bring one of those, we call them swamp coolers.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? You put water in it, and it's got a big fan on it. And I'm going to do a test, and I'm going to run it in the paint shop for about 2 days, and I'm going to see what it does to the humidity. And see how it works on cooling. You know, I had to turn on the air conditioner back there today. So I sent Joseph up on the roof to put the lawn sprinkler where it should be.
Oh, yeah.
Turned it on.
I forgot you had that.
And it got up to a whopping 86.
Still.
Which, for my paint shop, that is cold. That's freezing cold in the summer.
Yeah.
So just that cooling water, just cooling that roof off. I know we've talked about it before, but today's the first day I ran that.
What does that cost? I mean, do you notice that you're running that much water?
When I bought the shop, and I'm going to say this real quick, I hope I'm not shooting myself in the butt. When I bought the shop, Charlie said, "Listen, you do what you want to do." The water company came and put a meter in 10 years ago. They ain't never read it. If you want to call them and remind them, that's up to you. But they put it in. They know about it. They choose not to read it. And somehow or another, I just kind of forgot to call them and tell them, "Hey, you guys never read this meter."
Right.
So I don't have a water bill at the shop. Now, I'll say this. I run it from lunch to 3:30. I don't run it all day. I turn it off.
But didn't it create some like swamping? Doesn't it kind of create some like puddling issues around the building for you?
Yeah, it can.
Yeah,
it can.
it can.
Now, they're not issues. It's just wet ground out there.
Well, you do know what termites love, right?
Yeah. Well,
Moist,
good luck
moist
getting
ground.
Well, this is all steel. There's no
Is
wood
it?
back here. So, but anyway, yeah. So I use it responsibly.
Well, never mind.
Yeah. It's probably, I don't know how many gallons a day or whatever, but it ain't. They leak out more than what I use.
Right.
But yeah. So we did that. But I'm gonna get the guys may bring it tomorrow. He's a good friend of mine. Shout out Brady.
Does he bring you like a hydrometer or anything, or do you?
I've got two of them.
You do? Okay.
Yep. Which get one.
Yeah.
Get one. You need to know what your humidity is doing, especially when it comes time to gluing things up. If you do have to spray a little bit from time to time, you need to know what your humidity is in your shop. You probably have a dry area in there. That would be kind of where you need to store your lumber. It's crazy how much the humidity can change throughout a room.
Yeah.
So I've got two of them that I monitor, and I change my paint based on, kind of what they're doing. But anyway, it may work. It may be a total fail. I'm in this business. I understand what moisture does to wood. But again, I'd hate to go 20 years not running one, and it only would have raised the humidity up 5%.
Right.
And I've just
But
sweated
would have
my
made you
butt
so
off.
much better. Yeah.
Right. So, I understand what humidity I can live with, because guess what? In the summer in Alabama, it's 90% outside humidity. So, I mean, it's not like it's dry outside and I'm just introducing all this. It's already here.
Well, and the other thing is too, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not necessarily the humidity that's a problem. It's when it's extremely fluctuating that makes it do weird stuff. So, if you're able to run it and it keeps it consistent,
And when they turn the air on in the house, the cabinets are sealed, they're painted.
Yeah.
We paint the ends. I shoot the end grain of my styles.
Yeah.
Shoot them with some paint. But then the house gradually dries out.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't dry out overnight. So
that's why your drywall cracks in your house, people.
That's right. And we've never had an issue with doors cracking, cabinets cracking, anything like that. So, like I said, I get the lumber in 80% humidity. I store it 80%. I paint it 80%. I put it on an 80% trailer and take it to an 80% house.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to try it. And which, by the way, Brady is a A1 listener. He is.
Hey.
Every episode, every minute. So anyway, he needs to come out. Brady, you need to come out anyway and look at the house. So that'll give him a chance to come out.
How is the house going? Give us a quick update on that.
Where are we at? Quick update. Walls are up. The rim joist for the porch, so the outside, where the end of the porch is, all those are up. All the interior walls are up. Exterior obviously is up. The knee wall is up, which is part of the exterior walls. I won't get into too much detail. The builder came by today after lunch, and I eased back there. And I said, "What's up, man?" And it was just, it was old Frank, the guy building it. And he goes, "Well, these joists have to come down. Those joists have to come down. And those joists have to come down." And I was like, uh-oh. He's like, they're like a joist, a 2x8 is good for a however long span.
Right.
Then you have to go to a 2x10. if the room is bigger, right? The bigger the room, the bigger the joist.
Right.
They were like a foot off. So
Really?
if the room was a foot shorter, they could use what they had. So they didn't do like a crappy job. They probably eyeballed it and was like, because they're different sizes. I have some 2x6s, some 2x8s, and some 2x10s.
Okay.
So I think they're trying to judge the size of the room, but old Cuz brought a tape measure out. And he's like, they're 4 inches over the max span of this.
The same thing the framing inspector is probably going to bring out.
Yep. And he's like, they have to be changed. And I'm like, well, I'm glad you came over here because I didn't know. You know, I certainly never would have said, well, that's different. So I wrote on a stud everything he said we had to change and a couple of notes for the builder. There's something we thought we were going to have to do. Now we're not going to have to do. So I wrote all those notes out, and I got to go out there in the morning and meet with the amigos and tell them, you know, what the dealio is.
Well, when are we pulling wire? How close are we?
So they're setting rafters this week, and I think by the end of the week they'll have it dried in. So as soon as they have it dried in, we may start pulling wire this weekend.
This weekend? Wow.
I'll probably put the panel up, and I'm still I think I know what I want to do because it's my house and I'm doing it, so I can do what I want to do.
Right.
Of course, it'll all be up to code, but I mean, there's different options you can do in a house. I will not have a breaker outside that I have to send a kid out to turn the breaker on and off and call them on the phone and say, yeah, turn this one off, turn that one. No. All the breakers will be inside.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a disconnect outside. So, see, in your shop, we couldn't turn that panel off.
Right.
So I'm going to have a 200 amp disconnect outside that kills the whole inside panel. I can do whatever I want to in there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put it in a closet. So later on down the road, if I want to add something, it's easy to get to. I'm not drilling through a load-bearing wall to run all my cables down. So, you know, stuff like that I'm working out, mapping out, and kind of getting an idea on what to do. I will have 2 smoke detectors in the attic. Yeah, we fought a lot of fires started in the attic, a lot of them.
Yeah.
And if they would have had a smoke detector up there, it would have been a different story.
Yeah. I know I've seen some guys that during the construction phase, they're running conduit to the panel as well, so that later in life they want to run another circuit or whatever. They're just shimmying it down the conduit. It's already there.
Yep, I'm going to have a few of those. I'm going to have probably 2 or 3 3/4 stub ups, just stopping in the attic with tape or whatever on them.
Yeah.
And that way I can get into the panel. So
you doing like Smurf tubes for the TVs or anything like that, or you pull them wire
no,
up?
because I really don't think we're going to mount the TV to the wall.
Okay.
We don't. Now that's being said, we've got a wood burning stove, like a wood burning heater. We don't have a mantle and a fireplace.
Right.
But so yeah, we'll probably put it on a stand or something.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we're super excited.
You're rolling. I mean, now
We're
that they're rolling,
buddy.
they're rolling. Yeah.
Them jokers was out 105 degrees last week, and they worked from 8 in the morning till almost 7 at night.
Wow. It's crazy.
I don't know how they do it. And he goes, oh, man, no big deal. He said, you just get used to it. I said, no, brother, you don't get used to this.
Yeah.
You don't get used to it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'll send you some updated pictures when they get the trusses hung and stuff.
Keep them rolling. Keep them rolling.
But yeah, that's it.
Well, man, it's been a full week. I'm still tired. I'm still sore. You know, got a big build coming up. Got a big laundry room and mud room coming up, and then there's a big giant closet behind. I told you about that full stained grade closet that's like a 25 by 25 room. Blows my mind. And then have you got that big install done?
We're installing the overheads this week.
That's right.
And they're all done. So
and then you're done with that one, right?
Well, got to do drawers and fronts, and then we're done.
Gotcha.
So we're getting close.
That one's really just kind of drug along, hasn't it?
It has, man.
Yeah.
Biggest check of the year, and it's dragging.
Yeah.
Now, I told him, I said, it's going to be 2 stages. There's no way I can process all this stuff at one time.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is what it is.
Well, I got to go hang about 20 doors tomorrow, so I'm not happy at all. Ooh. And I can't start till 9 o'clock. So I'm really not happy about that.
Oh, the trophy cases?
No, the laundry room from hell.
Oh.
The doors finally came, and they finally got painted. And then they don't like to get up in the morning like normal people, so I can't get there till 9. I can't start till 9 o'clock. Like, it's 3 hours of productivity lost.
Yep, when it's balmy and hot outside,
Yeah.
you know, you're sweating before you get started. But
And I'd like to make it to the supply, you know, get materials for the next build, you know, and they close at 3, so,
yeah,
you know, no
Yep.
big deal,
Prep what you can.
right? Yeah, I'm going to go to the shop and rip a piece of plywood. I haven't ripped anything on the slider yet, so I don't even know if it's square or what, how close I'm at it, but I want to rip something.
3, 4, 5
See how it does.
rule is the easiest way.
Yep.
And but yeah, as long as is it pretty smooth when you roll it?
Oh, yeah. She's butter
Yeah.
smooth. Yeah.
That's a carbon copy. And SawStop bought Excalibur's patent.
Oh, yeah.
That's the same exact slider I have. Same.
Yeah.
I mean, the bolt holes look the same. You know.
Yeah.
I think SawStop got them and then drilled them for their saws. Is the only
Oh.
difference. But yeah, so you're gonna like it, man. That thing. And let me tell you something. You doing countertops or whatever, and you need to cut a side perfectly straight at 3 degrees. That thing is
Money.
money. Yep. But we're gonna do another podcast maybe this week. We'll see. And that's going to be kind of more what we have going on right now. This was
We'll catch up.
This was moving shops, big episode, you know, and
We had to
so
skip a week. So,
Mhm.
Well, actually, we skipped 2 weeks, I think, because
Yep.
I was on vacation and then I moved.
Yep.
I think we technically skipped 2 weeks.
You should have just FaceTime me while you were moving during the podcast. That would have been
All right. We'll just figure out how to record it.
Yep.
Well, buddy, I appreciate all the help again, man. I can't thank you enough. Producer Tommy, hey, keep pumping them out. You're doing good. You got the old beep thing done. Did get a request to start putting some links on the YouTubes for like some of the things we talk about for like people who don't know like what we're talking about. Like we talk about like an item, like be able to put, you know, just go look and see what it is, you know.
Well, now that we can screen share, you can show Thomas how to do that. I
That
thought
is
about
true.
that too on
That is
Wondershare.
true. Yeah, now that we got that software.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of want to, I don't want to spill somebody's business, but he's been posting on Facebook a pretty good bit. But Jason B, just want you to know we're our thoughts are with you. I know you're gonna listen, but his mom just passed. It sounds like it was a little bit of a long battle, and there's some relief there that she's passed, but that still doesn't make it easy to let mom go. But
Right.
we're thinking about you, man. I know that's tough, and just hope you keep pulling through that, and hope you see the other side the way that you want it to be, and knowing everybody else, we just hope that you continue to plug after it, go after those dreams, make those leaps. You know, I mean, I didn't really want to leap at a new shop, but by God, I'm glad I did it. I mean,
Yep.
it's one of those things. It's terrifying, it's scary, and you got to weigh it out. Talk to your significant other. You know, I did not make this decision on my own. I can promise you that. Much decision with mom and about how she felt about it and how how she thought it was going to impact the house and how she thought it was going to impact me, and because it changed the drive time and it changed a few things. But use your support system. That's why you got it. Phone a friend.
I'm about to say if you don't have a wife or whatever y'all situation is,
Yeah.
find somebody that's going to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I knew for sure when I saw Mitch's face when we walked from the old shop to the new shop that I had made the right decision. You know what I mean? When I moved to the first shop from the garage, I actually didn't take my wife with me at first to look at the shop. I took somebody else to give me an honest opinion, not an emotional opinion, because we were swallowing so much financially taking that on.
Yeah.
I needed somebody to help me detach from that and give me an idea of whether they thought it would work as far as progressing the business forward, and then kind of use that information and that conversation to talk to my wife and bring her on board and to give me more things to talk to her about, but to separate the emotional side of it. Like sometimes you just need somebody to help you walk it through. But look at the moves, and see if it makes sense. But life's too short.
Yep, do it. We're going to wrap it up. Travis about to go to sleep, so we're going to wrap it up and go home.
I feel like I'm bloodshot, like I smoked a joint while we were doing this show. I feel like my eyes and my face are just red as all get out. All right, man.
Right.
Well, thank you again, and thank you for listening. I hope it wasn't too boring listening to all this move stuff. But we appreciate it. Thanks again, Mom and Dad, for all your help. Couldn't have done it without you. I know you're probably still sore and sucking down Advil today, but
because if y'all didn't do it, he'd have been calling me, and so I'm glad y'all did it, not me.
Right? Oh, my goodness. All right, guys. Well, take care. Thanks for listening. Code word? You got something?
Move.
How
about that?
Move it.
Keep it easy.
I like to move it.
I like to move it. If you can't guess that one, then I don't know.
That is the great. That comes to mind every time.
By the way, did you get an email from Trey? I think you did. Well, you might not have. Anyway, we'll talk about it.
I don't think I did.
We'll talk about it. All right.
Okay. All right. Thanks for listening, and bring them all back.
Let's do it all 10 next week. See y'all.
Don't forget. All right, guys. Bye.
All right.